She walks it loud like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies, her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hi guys. Hi Shay.
Hey Melissa. Hey everybody.
Hello everybody. I see Heartlet up here. It's like, she changed the time. I hope that I'll be able to get here. I'm sorry. And I know Fridays are late days too, but I've become weak, okay? And like I have to make the decision of keep the energy going like after work, like and get on. Or if there's like an hour between, I start to fade out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have to keep the momentum because it's easier versus taking that hour break and then pepping yourself back up, if that makes sense. And I've just been dragging Jay along with my time changes. So I'm sorry.
It's like going over the power nap time, you know? It's like once you hit that, you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm just done.
I can't do power naps because I cannot. First of all, it takes me, by the time I lay down, if I was to settle enough to fall asleep, there's 45 minutes there to get asleep. And I don't sleep for 30 minutes and feel that's more miserable than like staying up. So it's either give me like 2 hours or no, it's not worth it. I'm not a cat nap type of person. Can you cat nap?
Sometimes, but like they're just sometimes, yeah. There's times where I can't, like my body just can't take it.
Yeah. Like I'm better off just laying down and just resting, not my eyes, but like resting and then getting up. But if I close my eyes, that's it. Bye. It's not coming
Same.
back. And J13, we're going to get into that because that it was an exceptionally large cell. And so I'm so glad that you said that because I was wondering, I'm like, why is it so big? But we'll get into that in a second because that's what I want to start out with. But first things first, here is our missing child for tonight's live stream. This is Chloe Goodell, and she has been missing since August 12, 2025, so 3 days from Paterson, New Jersey. We have an additional photo. So she's got those two bright red front
cool.
pieces, yeah. And so we have it back when it is bleached, which she looks so much younger in these photos. So if you or anyone who knows information on her whereabouts, please contact the Paterson Police Department at 1-973-321-1111. She looks like a baby in the two, like She's so different. It's amazing, like what different hair and different makeup types. Even not that she looks like she's wearing makeup, but just the hair alone shifted.
I think she looks older, like her face is a little fuller,
Mm-hmm.
like her cheeks. It's cute.
Hi, so there's that. Okay, so let's talk about it. Video surfaces of Bryan Kohberger while he is in prison. And it is creepy. And when I say creepy, there's two very short clips. We're about to go over it. But it is exactly how I imagined Bryan being in prison. Okay? So let's take a look. So it appears like it's being taken off of like a computer, maybe the security camera, wherever it's streamed to at the facility. Definitely is a no-no. Should not be doing that. Not complaining. I'm just saying shouldn't be doing that. And so let's look at Bryan. So the first thing off the bat is, yes, it's an exceptionally large cell. What are your thoughts with that, Shay?
I was shocked, and I was staring at his. I first zoomed in and looked at this blanket, then I looked at his red shoes, and I was like, "That is a really big cell."
It's a really big cell, and it appears like he's wearing like some knockoff type Converse, but I think I don't know. I can't tell if it's red socks, black socks, white little slip shoes, black and white shoes. I can't figure it out.
It is weird, yeah. But you see the red like Croc sandals over to the right too.
Yes.
That's weird. And what is in the bag right there?
And what's in the bag right there? Exactly. Wag says he's got a medical bed. I have a feeling it's temporary, maybe his screening period. And they usually do first go into like a holding area. But this is exceptionally large.
Yeah.
So what's in the bag? What's in the bag? We don't know. He has a garbage pail back there. We got his sink. Toilet, and then he's got a large bed with that blanket being made, so to speak, but it's neat. And thank you, Amy J. All Day, for 1 year. Happy 1 year anniversary with the Fab MJ All Day. Thank you so much. So let's take a watch for this first video. Okay, here we go. Let me turn that volume up. Oh God, it's exactly how I imagined him. He put something on that top cage and he's just with his arms crossed, just kind of observing his surroundings, it seems like. Okay. Play it again. Put something on that top cell. You have his two cups neatly there. His arms are crossed over. I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what is he thinking?
I no joke, when I was watching it, I was like, I was narrating it.
What were you narrating though? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna put this thing like right here. I think that's a good spot. Nobody can see, right? Like, I was just like,
I'm just
he's just being kind of weird.
Yeah, he is. He reminds me a little bit of Kevin Spacey in what is it called? Oh, what's that movie called? The Usual Suspects. He has like, and I know not really, but like, I don't know. He's just giving me that vibe a little bit. But what is he putting up there? What is he looking at? Yeah, Kaiser Sose, yes. What is he looking at? What is he doing? Why is his arms crossed like that? I don't know. It's just strange. Just his whole demeanor is strange to me.
I don't know if it's a TV.
It's a computer because you could see it.
Oh, okay.
Look in this second
Jump
one.
Drunk says it's a TV.
CHP right there at the bottom.
Mm.
So this is the second one. And he's cleaning his shoe.
Yeah, the shoe cleaning one was the weird one. I was like,
he's cleaning his crotch.
I was going, put the lotion on the skin before it gets the hose again.
Now, I can tell you what is strange about this is that maybe I just clean shoes differently, but usually I hold the shoe stationary and I will wipe around. But what I noticed that Bryan does is he will hold the cloth stationary and he will
Yes.
turn the shoe.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was
Look at him.
interesting.
He does a little flipperoo of the shoe. Why do they
And
get Crocs in prison, Shay?
I don't know. And I was like, those are some bright ass shoes.
He's got black shoes. He's got bright ass orange shoes. And then he's got like a black and white fucking shoe on his foot right now. I don't even know what it is.
Are they slides? It looked like he has white socks and like black slides on.
See, I thought he had black socks and white slides on, but then you see a little peekaroo of that bright orange color at the bottom. I don't know.
That could be the string from the toes.
I'm confused. I'm just confused. But we have a bigger shot of his bed here. And
The
what
shoes
is
are.
on his bed? I don't know. It looks like a little thing for door service there. Like do not disturb that you hang out on your door. I don't know what it is. But you know what? He is in a medical one because look, it has the handrails near the toilet.
Somebody said he was in the like accessible one of the medical.
Why is he in a handicapped accessible one?
I don't know.
And what's in the bag?
Maybe his shoe polish or his, I don't know.
Shoe polish. What the hell's he got shoe polish from?
What you got in your bag?
What you got in your bag, Kohberger? Now, it is obvious that someone's not supposed to be taking this video. You can see a little bit of a workstation below the HP again. So I'm assuming this is the prison. And yeah, he is a clean freak, absolutely. But it gives us a little insight of when, I wouldn't say when he thinks nobody's watching, because he's aware someone's watching, but he is not aware that it's being recorded and sent out. But like, for just the way he's so stoic, and I don't know, it's so strange to me to kind of get a peek inside.
I know. Well, the word on the street was that it was this girl that posted him in the Facebook social media group, one of the groups, and like she has a friend that works at the prison, and she got him to take different like videos and pictures of stuff, and they started going around. I was trying to find the original post. I had it, and then I just lost it, and I fell asleep.
She got her friend fired. That's what she did, because they're going to very easily pinpoint when this was taken. It's all recorded and time-stamped. Whoever was logged into the computer at that time. So very good, friend. She got her friend to take it. And I agree. It's not like, listen, no matter my feelings about Kohberger, it's not okay to do. If it's violating what they're supposed to do, then it's not okay. But I'm definitely, he looks so red now. Maybe it's just the like hue, I think it's called. But he looks red. He looks like he matches those sandals.
He does look oddly red.
Yeah.
Is there a red light or something? Or no, maybe it's the TV light on him. Because if you look back at his elbow, it looks lighter.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. He's morphing into those damn shower Crocs. But he does kind of look scared to be there. The most that you can kind of take away from a 6-second clip is he looks uncomfortable. He looks like he's not supposed to, in his mind, be there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this is taking the friggin' internet by storm, and it's going everywhere. Hugh, I think that's the right word. Like Jackman. Hugh. Yay, he's got that master bedroom in prison right now, but not for long. I'm curious, like, where they're going to put him. Are they going to put him? I can't imagine them. I think they're going to do something like Chris Watts and some type of protective custody, right? Yeah, he does, Callie. Everything's in front of that camera. It's not like they shut it off for shit. Maybe his hands are red from washing obsessively.
Maybe.
Yeah, because if they were able to shut those cameras off for poop, like Shawshank Redemption, Prison Break, this all wouldn't be a thing because it would just very easily up. I got to take a shit, like and start carving in through the wall. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hi, Boost T. Hi, Vicky. Okay.
I don't know how they didn't think it would get back to finding out who was culprit of it.
It's a great question. Like, look at him just standing. So, who flips their crock like that? Who holds the cloth stationary and rotates the crock?
I think those
And
are
what
the
is
tennis
he looking
shoes.
at?
Or no, they don't. No, they can't have laces.
Hi, Lacey. I'm just all kinds of like, what's on the tip of his toes? Like, why? We see 3 colors: white, black, and that orange.
It's a shoe. His shoes are black and white. Then, if you
And
zoom in, they're
okay,
black and white. Because if you zoom in, the way the white looks, it almost looks like a heel.
look at that. Look at that. What are those?
I have no idea. What are
Look at
those?
how red his hands are. Is he scrub-dubbing?
Is it from a? Did he get red stain for his Crocs? I don't understand.
I don't know. And what's on the bed? What is that a remote? Please don't tell me that's a remote. That looks like an ID of some sort. What's in this bag? Why does he have 3 pairs of shoes? What kind of shoes are these?
If you look at the bag, like if you zoom in on the bag, it looks like it has holes like a face. See the
It
two
does.
and a smile.
Don't tell me he's putting that on.
Oh, that's creepy.
What is that? Yes, he is on a handicap accessible. And then if we go to it wasn't this one. It was the other one. No, wait, maybe it was this. No, it was this one. All right, what you got up there? You got your look at that
That's a
cage.
TV.
What?
That is a TV.
That is a TV in a cage, Shay. He has a remote control for a TV in a cage.
Wow.
Why does he have a TV in a cage? Why? First of all, what can you see through those holes? Second, why should he be allowed that?
So they can't break it?
No, but why should he be allowed it, period?
Because they're allowed that.
He should not be allowed that. Did he buy it through the commissary?
I'm sure it was bought for him. I think people are probably putting money on his commissary.
Dude, look at his 2 cups. His outfits are all folded. I don't know what that, you know what? He put that on top of the cage. It reminded me of remember those games we used to play where you'd fold the paper and it would be like 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, black, blue, purple, pink. You know,
the little Chinese
P-U-R-P-L-E. You know,
like the Chinese fortune teller.
Yes, it reminds me of that little fortune fucking folding. Because what else is that he's so methodically just placed right up top there? I don't know, guys.
Are those styrofoam cups?
Yeah, styrofoam cups.
Huh.
I don't know.
And then he's got his toilet paper stacked in the corner next to his shoes.
Paper. He sure does. He has, like I said, the the garbage pail, the handicapped rails. Like
his hands are red. Like it's stained,
yeah.
Melissa.
His hands are red. Look at that. So red. You could see that line of demarcation, like right there. Boom.
Was he making some hooch?
Trying to take off his fingerprints? A little too late for that. I don't know.
I think maybe a little prison hooch.
You think he would know how to?
Oh, I'm sure.
You ever see Wade Wilson's bag of prison hooch? It was a massive bag. It was like that garbage bag right there that they he filled like 3 times up and it exploded and all over the floor you saw like a floating piece of Wonder Bread, orange peels, apple cores, like everywhere.
I gotta see this. Show me. Oh my God.
It was so gross. I'll have to find it. It was so gross. Yeah, we've heard he washes his hands a lot, and that would be interesting if now that with him being in prison, his OCD kicking in, wash.
Surely medical would like step in, you know?
I don't know, Shay. Like, they're there if you request it, but at a certain point, if he's gonna wash his hands intensively, like that's just on him.
But he's been in solitary confinement since he's been
No.
arraigned.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but Ada County came out with a statement saying this was fake. I don't believe this is fake because he's not doing anything crazy and it's not over the top. It's a few seconds. I absolutely believe that this is legit. What do you think?
Interesting. I don't know. Hold on, let me read that article real quick.
No, you're right, Jaden. OCD is not always the same, but using what Anne has claimed about him in the past, that is one of the traits that he had, allegedly. Yeah, I don't, AU mom.
Oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
it was IDOC. They said we caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced. IDOC wrote in its news release. Let me grab the news release.
Interesting. Well, we have this that Chad just sent me. And it says Idaho prison's official investigates possible leak of Bryan Kohberger footage. Look how he's scary looking. He's scary looking, man. He's just hollow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just nothingness. Oh, wrong way. Okay. So it says the Idaho Department of Corrections said it's investigating to determine whether videos of Bryan Kohberger, the man convicted of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in his prison cell, were leaked online. IDOC in a news release said it hasn't yet confirmed the legitimacy of the what appears to be footage of Kohberger in his prison cell, which has been circulating on social media. The videos, if verified, would be a clear violation of the agency's policy, and anyone responsible would be held accountable. 2 emails to staff members have been sent out by prison leadership, reminding them of policies and expectations when using technology and social media, according to the release. Videotaping and sharing security footage is prohibited, IDOC said. The agency said it would review all legal avenues, including criminal charges. Quote, the safety and security of our staff and incarcerated population remain our top priority, the agency said in the release. It's unclear where the video originated from, but it's been widely shared online on Reddit and Facebook groups dedicated to discussing Kohberger's case, as well as social media posts from podcasters and true crime followers. Correctional officers are allowed to carry cell phones within the facilities when they arrive, but are prohibited from taking photos or video according to a standard operating procedure. We caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced, IDOC wrote in its new release. Kohberger 30 was moved to the Idaho Maximum Security Institution south of Boise just hours after being sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences in July. He pleaded guilty to the first-degree murders of Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Kohberger initially went through the Correctional Systems Reception and Diagnostic Unit, which evaluated him to determine his housing placement before he was placed in solitary confinement in the prison's J block. That's also where men on death row. Where am I?
That's it. Yeah, I think there's like one small bit at the bottom.
Yeah, that's also where men on death row are housed, though in a separate tier. Lauren Matag, a spokesperson for the Ada County Sheriff's Office, told the Idaho Statesman that the video wasn't from in the local jail. The Statesman has reached out to the Ada County Sheriff's Office for comment. I don't think it is from the jail. I think it's from the prison.
Yeah, and the IDOC thing is, I think, just it was already explained in the Idaho Statesman. I think it's where he's at right now, is what I understood from it.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, he was in the jail for a long time, and not a thing came out. Okay, so I know that we have more records that have dropped. And I'm seeing stuff left and right on News Nation, like all over the channels. Like, what do you want to do, Shay? Do you want to continue reading our reports in the order that we're going in? Do you want to stop and watch one of the News Nations? What do you think?
Why don't we check out News Nation first, and then let's see where we want to go.
Aye, aye, Captain.
And it's just hard because, like, I haven't read any of it. I can't really say if it's true or not. And I love
I
my
know.
Banfield, but sometimes,
Sometimes she's not right.
or she just has a different interpretation of something that I'm trying to understand how she gets there, but I don't know.
Right. There's a bunch that are coming out.
Yeah, I use the same G drive to put the Pullman ones in there. But it's like, from my understanding, it's a lot of tips, videos, and photos. So whatever you want to do, also.
Okay. This one is Bryan Kohberger called his mom repeatedly after Idaho murders, which I have not watched this one yet. We know this to be true. Well, at least that he called the phone registered to his dad, but widely speculated he was talking to his mom. I do believe that that is one of the reasons he took the plea. One of a few, but one of the reasons is that his mom would be up on that stand and that she would be under oath and have to testify to what they spoke about that morning. And there's that chance, depending on what they spoke about, that she could be prosecuted.
I agree with you. And I haven't seen any of these either. I started watching the one you sent me, but I didn't get to finish it.
All right, well, let's listen together.
Yay!
The Bryan Kohberger story. There are so many new facts that have come to light tonight on new documents that we've gotten our hands on in News Nation. They are not public documents yet, but our Brian Enton was able to secure these documents, and we are just learning a lot of very disconcerting information. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not saying that this is good, or I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that this is a fact. If you want to get inside somebody's head these days, get inside their phone.
Whoops.
And you better believe that police investigating the Idaho student murders got into Bryan Kohberger's phone just as soon as they could. But they got some expert level help from two noted experts in their field. And while Kohberger may take as many secrets as he can to his grave, his Samsung Galaxy phone is a virtual open book. Among the bombshells that those experts can now reveal is an eerily close, maybe even pathological bond between the cold-blooded killer and his mother, Marianne Kohberger.
What?
We now know that Kohberger called his mother less than 2 hours after slaughtering those 4 innocent kids. And by the way, in a nod to Norman Bates in the movie Psycho, that is what he called Marianne Kohberger, mother, not mom, not ma. He called her mother. He wrote it in his contacts, and he texted the words when he talked to his mother and his father. We're going to dig into the psychology of that in a moment. But
All right, go
Kohberger
ahead.
didn't call his mother one time. He continued to call his mother all throughout the day of those murders. First called to her at 6:13 a.m. Quote unquote, mother didn't answer. So Brian called father, also has father in his contacts and texts the word father when he talks about him. He called his father 1 minute after mom didn't answer. And apparently he used to do that a lot. He called his mom, and if she didn't answer, he would right away dial father. And at 6:17 a.m., his mom actually did connect with Bryan Kohberger, and the two of them spoke for 36 minutes. Just think about this. The two of them spoke for 36 minutes, less than 2 hours after Bryan Kohberger had exacted that horrifying vengeance at 1122 King Road. And then a little bit later.
Yeah, it was only an hour after that last call to his mom. He drove back. Shay?
Mm-hmm. Not long after he got off the phone with her. That's
2
weird.
hours again.
Yeah.
At 8:03 a.m., Bryan Kohberger calls his mom again.
Oh, wait,
This
wouldn't
time
you
they
already
speak
be
for
there?
54 minutes. But the
No,
timing
not at
of
8:03.
this call is absolutely
No, the call is
killing.
54 minutes.
And
so
here's why.
Oh, he would got there around what, 9-10 a.m.?
I think it was like around 9 a.m. or something. He left his house.
Yeah.
So right
Oh
after,
my goodness.
because remember you corrected me because I said, oh, he was there for a certain amount of minutes. I think he left his house around 9.
Yes, he did. Oh my goodness. And I think that's what she's about to say. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, sorry, we're probably
No, listen, I'd rather us figure it out on our own than have Ashley tell us.
right.
This time they speak for 54 minutes. But the timing of this call is absolutely chilling. And here's why. Bryan Kohberger returned to King Road, the scene of the crime, at about 9 o'clock in the morning. We all assume that it was because he left a knife sheath behind and he wanted to find it. If he dropped it outside, he needed to get it. But the timing means that he was on the phone with his mother while he was en route back to the scene of the crime. And at 9 a.m. on the dot, he and Mom are chatting. He's at the murder scene, probably looking around for the sheath outside. Dare he go back inside? Nobody knows those kids are dead yet. There's no cops there. There's no nothing. And he's skulking around outside. And he's talking to her for about 9 more minutes. Remember, the police say he spent about 10 minutes at the scene that morning before anyone knew what had gone on there.
I don't know if I
And
agree with
9
your
of those minutes,
timeline.
he's chatting with his mom. I wonder
Because
if she could hear anything.
54
I wonder if
minutes
she could
would
hear.
end the call right around the time he would be arriving.
8:57 a.m. is when he would get off the call. So
Right. So our
I thought
timeline
he
is
left the house at 9.
I thought he arrived around 9:10, 9:12. Let me pull up the PCA.
It wasn't in the PCA.
Yeah, it was the phone traveling.
Okay, the times were. Maybe I was thinking of the report we went through last time that was, what's his name's? Was it Mowry's?
Detective Mary.
Yeah, maybe it was Mowry's report I was thinking of.
He in the PCA it said the 8458 phone left his Pullman apartment. I swear, like 9:10, 9:12 is in my brain of when he arrived.
Yeah, I mean, I know we did talk about it. Like,
all right, here, I'll play it, and so I'm gonna look.
The rustle of his feet going through all those leaves, right? It's October, it's November, it's fall, so there's leaves and sticks all over the ground, and he's presumably clumping around where he parked up behind the house. There were still more phone calls to come, even after this. Kohberger and his mom spoke for 2 minutes at 4:05 in the afternoon. Then they spoke again at 5:53 p.m. This was the longest call of the day, folks. This one lasted, that is not a typo, 96 minutes.
so at 9 he
Talked to
calls his
Mommy
mother.
for an hour and a half, just before 6 p.m., about 14 hours after he'd finished off his slaughter. All told, if you do the math and you add up these conversations.
You hold on. Wait, is there another 9 a.m. call? See,
Yes.
You didn't say that, Ashley. You made us think the other call. Hold on, Ashley. You need to slow your roll, and you should have added
Let's back
that to
it
the
up.
other one. Back that ass up, Ashley. So if we're looking at the PCA, so 5:25 observed on 5 cameras. Okay, traveling northbound. Okay, 5:27. This is still before he started calling his parents. Okay. No, why? Hold on. It jumps back and forth. 8458 phone. No, this is. I have to go to. Nope. $253. Okay, why does it jump though? Where is the? It's jumping to the 20. Okay, so between 3 and 5 a.m. Why is it? Where is it, Shay? November 13th. Okay, 2:42. Utilizing the tower. 2:47. Okay, 4:48 a.m. Utilize cellular towers. Okay, between 4:50 and 5:26. Okay, approximately 5:30. Pullman coverage Okay, further consistent.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go. There's at the
Okay,
bottom.
9 a.m. So further review indicated that the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources on November 13, 2022 that are consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the area of the Kohberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. I knew it, 9:12. See, that stuck in my mind for some reason.
We were both right. He left his house at 9. Yeah.
We're both right. So you're telling me he was on the phone with his mom at 9 and lasted the amount of time until he basically arrived at the house?
That's weird. Why was he talking to her all the way to the house?
Literally all the way to the house, and then got off once he's at the house, spent 9 minutes there, and then got back to his place at 9:32. So now let's jump back.
What was going through his mind?
I could speculate. I could speculate all damn day.
Huh.
Ugh, I hate that. Okay.
I wonder if he had a what the hell did I just do moment.
I think maybe I stand on my theory of he saw Dylan saw him. It was loud. He fully anticipated 911 already being on their way and called. And I think he wanted to speak to his parents before he, in his mind, got arrested for this. It just didn't go the way he anticipated.
Wow.
In the afternoon. Then they spoke again at 5:53 p.m. This was the longest call of the day, folks. This one lasted, that is not a typo, 96 minutes. He talked to mommy for an hour and a half, just before 6 p.m., about 14 hours after he'd finished off his slaughter. All told, if you do the math and you add up these...
Yeah, she says that.
The day that Kohberger stole 4 innocent kids from their parents, he spent more than 3 hours on the phone with his mommy. And then there's this other piece of information that fell in our laps today. On December 30th, that is the same day that Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania, Kohberger's phone pinged with an email notification. And it said, quote, "New message from Reddit. Your account has been permanently suspended for posting violent content."
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below.
What?
Whoa, you can't just stop there, Ashley. The hell?
Didn't she just do a podcast, or did she post the full episode on her page?
I don't know.
What the hell? What was that about? Oh, yeah, she's got the full 41 minutes on her podcast.
Okay.
I'm just wait. What just happened?
I don't know. They're all, they're all out of fucking order and shit. They're all over the place. Oh. Okay, what's this? I don't know. It's a continuation.
He made endless phone calls to mother.
Oh, I think I got it.
Right after he'd slaughtered 4 Idaho students. He had utter contempt for and an inability to function with women at school and at work. And then there's that grinning selfie that he took just hours after killing 4 people. Not to mention,
I just watched
hand washing, long showers, and sleepless nights we heard about from fellow inmates in jail. Bryan Kohberger's defense team claimed in court filings that he suffered from a variety of mental conditions, autism being one of them. And if there'd been a trial, the jury would have likely heard from competing expert witnesses. But I have my own expert. Scott Bond is a well-known criminologist, an author, a podcaster who's now on a national speaking tour called Serial Killers with Dr. Scott Bond. Dr. Bond, good to have you
James
on.
Bond?
So much, and what a night
James
to join
Bond.
me. I'm sure you've been hearing about a lot of the breaking news that we've been reporting on this show tonight, not the least of which is the vibe that I get from the fact that this killer called his mom mother and his dad father, formally, all the time. What do you make of that?
Well, I've thought for some time now, and this only confirms my analysis, is that with Kohberger, we're dealing with a classic sociopath. And unlike psychopaths who are unable to form emotional connections and empathetic connections with others. Sociopaths can. They are made, they are not born. And a sociopath, it's not unusual for them to have a powerful, emotional, empathetic connection with one or two people in their lives. And yet at the same time have complete disdain and hatred even toward the rest of humanity. And this, I think, is Bryan Kohberger. So the fact that he called his parents the morning of the murders and referred to them repeatedly as mother and father, and I guess he had a pattern of doing so, shows the extent to which he revered his parents and the extent to which he needed their emotional support and connection. He had to get himself grounded, I believe, that morning by calling mommy and daddy. So classic.
Oh, but he's not calling them mommy and daddy.
Actually.
There is middle ground, mom, dad. Okay. Why is it mother, father, or mommy, daddy? There's middle ground. I just think, honestly, it aligns more with how he has been portrayed to us, and even down to like how he holds himself and with that straight, very rigid, which Anne did talk about. It's not really surprising to me with the mother father. Maybe like it's just formal. He speaks very formal. We've heard that.
Yeah, it's formal, and I guess for me, just because I have nicknames for my parents, like, when I say mother or father, it usually means like I'm angry.
I never say mother. I never say that. Father, papa. No, I just say dad. No.
I call my dad daddy, my mom mama.
See, everyone has different things. I object.
Any objection? All objections.
See, birth giver, that works. I don't know. I don't really overread too much into that.
Yeah, it is formal, but
Right.
I just find more the amount of calls and the time length and the timing of them to be interesting. Like, that's what I was trying to understand. Like, I've always said I wanted to know what his habitual behavior was, like what stood out to people. And like some of the things we found out, like just through the court filings, was he stopped using his debit card. He started using cash. Like, I wanted to see like what those changes in behaviors are, even in the calls.
Agreed, 100%.
Let me ask you about a passage that we think was highlighted
Page
in
118.
a book that was found. The book was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And apparently one page 118, was heavily highlighted. We don't know exactly what was highlighted, but at the top of the book, I can tell you what it says. The knowledge that you can handle anything that comes your way is the key to allowing yourself to take risks. I'm trying to think if Bryan Kohberger was trying to get over the risk of killing and would read a book like this, or get over the risk of just being Bryan Kohberger.
I think it's more generally the trauma, if you will, of being Bryan Kohberger. We know that he was an extremely troubled young man in high school and going into college. He is someone who had completely dysfunctional relations with others, particularly females, and I believe a true fear of women, and a fear of his own goals and needs and desires, a fear of academia, a fear and an awkwardness in both his professional and his social life. So I think fear permeated him. And so looking at a self-help book like that, he was looking for answers, he was looking for support, he was looking for a way to overcome or at least walk through his fears. But I think when you look at Bryan Kohberger and his progression into the monster that he became, I think that the fear that he was trying to overcome from day one was, or the nature of the trauma that he was trying to overcome from day one was his own internal fear.
Yeah, I don't like. Sorry, and again, I don't like this whole victim mentality. And when I say that, I'm talking about like this idea where, oh, I've gone through so much trauma. I have to, like, we all really have. And I don't like to compare traumas, because guess what? Your worst trauma is your worst trauma, and I don't like to compare what may be my worst trauma. Is it worse than yours? No, because it's the worst that you know. So if that's your worst trauma, period. And so I disagree with the expert. I disagree because I don't really think it has to do with that versus I think he was, and I don't even want to use the word struggling with what he was internalizing and what his thoughts were. I think he was probably trying to come to terms with his own thoughts and feelings and desires and interests and trying to overcome that, not so much his trauma.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely seems to show that he's experienced things a lot of it on his own behalf, like his addiction and stuff and what he went through there. But say he does have some mental health disorder, usually signs of that don't show till men are in their mid to late 20s, which he was. And so for me, I'm not looking at like a past trauma as much as like maybe this was always really who he was,
Right.
and it just took time to surface. Like,
Right.
I'm not blaming it on anything else in my mind. That's
I
my
don't like
perception.
to. Yeah, I don't like to do that. Like, of course, you could look at it as factors, but I guess it's more of that nature versus nurture argument. But I think it could be both. But I think this was more about something he, in his own mind, was trying to understand.
Right.
I'm so appreciative that you made space for us in the middle of your busy tour. I should just tell everybody if they want to watch you, your work is
Thanks.
amazing.
I'll go to the next one. Promotion. Okay. See, I have no idea which one is going to be which, but we'll just go with it. No, it isn't 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's like the full thing. I don't know what all's in it.
Where? Oh, no. I
know Brian Denton has done a few updates. His are usually a little bit shorter.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Here's the two I want you to watch. All right. Let's see.
Oh, okay, that one.
He told multiple friends and acquaintances that she was being stalked, Ashley, that she was being stalked and that she was concerned about it.
This excerpt says, and we'll get into those reports, obviously, but sometime in the early morning hours, I assume it says Dylan was awoken and opened her room door, and Dylan heard a male say, quote, that's me, not quote Dylan. It's okay, Kaylee. I'm here for you, and crying. She then shut her door. A short while later, she opened her door again and saw someone approximately 5'10" tall, dressed in all black with a ski mask, standing in the kitchen. She made eye contact with the person and could see they were Caucasian through the cutouts for the eyes. She shut her door again and texted Bethany, whose bedroom was on the first floor, and Bethany told her to join her in her room, and Dylan ran down the stairs to Bethany's room where they fell asleep. This is new. It was never, it's okay, Kaylee, I'm here for you. It was always, it's okay, I'm here to help you.
Was this an excerpt from whenever she was getting Xana and Kaylee's names mixed?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because you remember that one report where he had their names
right
backwards?
Maybe. That's why, again, we can't rely on Ashley's little excerpts here.
Yeah, that's sounds off.
That doesn't make sense because it would all make sense if it was Xana. Let's see.
And she even told a story that came up in several witness interviews that we've already reviewed, that she went outside with her dog, that her dog was out there, she was letting him pee, and she saw in the distance a shadowy figure. And this happened on more than one occasion, but the last one being about a month before the murder. So we've all been wondering if that wasn't Bryan Kohberger out there in the backyard watching her and planning and plotting, because that is the entrance. He came in through the backyard through a sliding glass door. So the fact that we're hearing from the surviving roommate that he mentioned her name kind of tracks with the multiple accounts of Kaylee talking about having a stalker. And I think that was pretty fascinating to me.
And, you know, you think back, now the house has been torn down, but before it was so scrutinized. This is the front of the house. These forensic investigators all went through the basement door, but on the third floor at the back of the house, that's where Maddie's and Kaylee's rooms existed, and they had windows facing the back. And if you go up around the left side of the house there, where that long, big, tall tree is, you can actually peer into their windows. So you're right. When they made these reports that there was something out in the bushes that the dog Murphy kept running to, those would be the back bushes. And when they said they saw a figure back there, that would be in the back bushes facing right into Kaylee's window, and of course Maddie's window as well. Okay, let's talk about this this incredible series of reports that police were able to interview and get this information out of the Washington State University colleagues and professors of Bryan Kohberger. Not only did they say that he absolutely...
And again, we're going to go through these reports to read them for ourselves. We're kind of just jumping ahead a little bit to kind of catch up with, because it takes us a while to get through all of them, but can't verify. We don't know because we didn't go through all these reports yet.
Had to dominate every single conversation, dominate to a point where people didn't want to be around him, but that he humiliated some of the female students. And there was an account where one of them was humiliated by him in the classroom and had to leave in tears.
Yeah, you know what? The only thing that all of his colleagues and his classmates seem to agree on is that they all disliked him intensely. You've heard different things. I mean, some said that physically he was overwhelming. He would stand too close, that when you tried to get away, he continued talking. One of the professors said she was walking to her car and he followed her. She began to get an escort. She asked for an escort to get to her car one night. I mean, there was just a way of domination physically that is apparent in all of these different colleagues and other students talking about him. It also sounds as if he did a lot of what they called mansplaining. I mean, he was talking to one of the other students at a barbecue that happened before classes had started at Washington University, and she was relaying what her research was, and then he proceeded to teach her and tell her what her actual research was and explain it to her. And at that point, she decided that that's it. She's not going to have much to do with him.
What is mansplaining? Like, is that anytime a male is explaining something to you?
No.
Like, you know, I'm just saying, I don't like throwing the mansplaining on like that. So is it womansplaining when we do it to men?
Right.
Explain it to me. Like, why does your dick matter? Like, I don't like that stuff. Like again, I'm kind of just picking and choosing what I'm absorbing here, because I don't like always throwing like an automatic explanation or label on things that you really have no idea. Like, everything she just described, I don't take that as dominance versus not being able to gauge social interactions. There's a difference, but that's just my opinion.
Number of complaints that were filed by students is up to, one of the people that dealt with complaints said in these documents, 13 complaints filed. And it wasn't just the female students who found him abhorrent. It was also his supervising professor, or a professor that said to him, that said he would come at the end of the day, he would not disengage. And this is something that the women said too, that even when you said, I can't talk now, it's too late on a Friday, I need to leave, he followed and he kept talking. And they actually got into a bit of a yelling match about it. So it sounds like, from all that we're reading here, that he was universally disliked, and at some points it became very threatening for some of the female students.
They all said as well that it was so palpable as a group what it was like to be around him and how much as a group they did not want to be around him and disliked his mannerisms and, like you said, his mansplaining. He even mansplained to men. Like you said, he would tell people about their work or their research or their courses. But there was something that they decided to do as a group, and that was, let's count the number of times this guy shows up late for the female professors' classes versus the number of times he shows up late for his male professors' classes. What were the results?
Well, the results were that he showed up quite a bit late. It was way more. He never showed up late for the men. He was always late for the woman professor, and she actually called him out on it. And he got very awkward. And she said, "Oh, you're on time." You know, the one time that he actually showed up on time.
Thank you, Kimmy.
The other thing too that you notice with the female students is they also talk about the staring. And one of the students, or I believe it was one of the students, described it as trying to be like dominating and to control, like to stare at someone, because he had a weird stare. And it's something that we've all remarked on watching him in court, seeing him in person, that he just would continue to like stare at people. And it was very unsettling. I mean, we know what he did, so it adds to that. But even before that, people were remarking on the stare.
And of course, you could look at a lot of very odd people who stare, and the first thing that crosses your mind is not, I wonder if they're quadruple murderers. Always in retrospect, it means so much more. But
Actually, always with the shocking words.
Really rattled me today, Allison. When I read it, I read every word of this professor. When she said that she believed this man could become a predator if they continued to teach him.
Wait, whoa, hold on. Was that said before or after?
I don't know. I heard this quoted, but I haven't listened to this segment.
I need to know, Shay, like, and I know we're gonna get to it, but like, there's a big difference if that professor said it before or if that professor said it after. No shit. After hindsight, a comment like that. What I want to know is what was said before.
Same. That'd be really interesting.
Now okay, if she said it before the murders, that is so interesting. That is so super interesting to me. I can't
Maybe in the Pullman files, I think.
Yeah. If that was said, see, that's fascinating because that is such a strong statement to make that if we keep teaching him, wow, I cannot wait to go over that.
Oh, that gives you chills.
Yeah, that gives me chills.
This professor, when she said that she believed this man could become a predator if they continued to teach him and if they continued on the path to giving him his PhD, because he was so bright, there was nothing they could do about it. They would have to give him that PhD. But she feared that he would be a predator to his future students.
Wow.
Not to mention maybe anybody else in his path. This
quote, Kohberger is smart enough that in 4 years, we will have to give him a PhD. Mark my word. I work with predators. If we give him a PhD, that's the guy that in that many years, when he is a professor, we will hear is harassing, stalking, and sexually abusing. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. I'd love to hear from that professor. Wow,
Whoa.
That's a strong statement.
That's a very strong statement.
I'd love to know when that was stated and how they were able to quote that.
Oh, let me go look.
I just want to.
What do you think?
That's strong. That's like saying it with all your chest. Like, that's a big statement.
It's a big statement.
Read it again because it's just so jarring. Kohberger is smart enough that in 4 years, we will have to give him a PhD. Mark my word. I work with predators. If we give him a PhD. That's the guy that in many years, when he's a professor, we will hear is harassing, stalking, and sexually abusing. They actually started discussing, Allison, a way to put the brakes on this process and to stop him from becoming a PhD. What did they talk about? What were they able to do?
Well, they were able to stop his funding. I mean, and he was being paid to be a teacher's assistant. They were able to stop that. I think a lot of how they managed to stop it too was because he had gotten into a yelling match with his supervising professor. And I think that it wasn't just the women saying things about his behavior, but also the men. I have to tell you, it's pretty shocking, but you have to give, props to this professor that she was good enough, I guess, in this is what she taught in criminology, to understand that there was something wrong with this guy. I mean, 13 complaints is a lot of complaints. And these complaints, one male student said he was going to make a complaint, but he didn't because they weren't anonymous. So these complaints had names attached to them. And the professor at one point actually notes during one of the conversations that tells the police that there are 2 students that the police could talk to about Kohberger. This is, after the murders and talk about how he behaved in class. So I think that as a group, they came to find out a way, like if you don't pay him, they were not going to pay him for being a teaching assistant, and he was fired. And then there were appeals on that. And we did report on this. This kind of leaked out early in the investigation. But we never heard that there was actually a professor who recognized the threat that was inherent in Bryan Kohberger. She recognized it, and she wanted to stop it before he was in a position of real power over a lot of female students.
Well, and just in retrospect, I call it the crimson tide of red flags, that this guy would, in her estimation, become a predator. My God, I wonder what she thinks now, knowing that it wouldn't be but months and he would be the ultimate predator, not just somebody who assaults or stalks, but somebody who slaughters 4 innocent kids while they're sleeping.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and
So there's that. Says Catherine Ramsland said he was one of the smartest people she ever taught, and that's one of the reasons she wants to interview him, because she was surprised he was sloppy to leave the sheath. I know that there's a decent portion of people who believe he intentionally left it. I don't. I think that no matter how meticulously you plan, that you can account for things that are going to happen in the moment. And I do not think he planned for all 4. And I think it's just in the struggle. And if you want to believe that Xana had gone up and interrupted, which I have more of an issue now, if the victims were covered, I know that that's going around, that they may have been covered in a blanket. I just struggle with it. Yeah, there's always room for error. Let me see. Did you hear that they were covered, Shay?
Oh, what was covered? I'm sorry.
The victims.
Oh, yeah.
So how would Xana have interrupted unless she interrupted as he was covering Maddie and Kaylee?
I don't think Xana went upstairs.
Well, that's what the most recent thing is going around. That her phone. Go ahead.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that yet. That's just been talked about.
Correct. I don't believe anything unless I read it exactly. ATS. I hope that they will, because in the crime scene photos, apparently in some of them that are blurred, the victims are still in the photos, but it makes it very confusing because also in Xana's bed is a pink blanket, but noted is the pink blanket on Maddie's bed, but we don't see that in the crime scene photos. It's a little bit, I have some questions.
So it's somebody, they're saying in an interview with Idaho State Police, that's where they're saying they heard this thing about Kaylee. I'm saying, it's okay, Kaylee, I'm here for you. Because they also stated on News Nation, they say the thing about the professor like predicting predatory behavior, that was from Idaho State Police documents. I'm confused because Idaho State Police documents haven't been released.
Right, MPD has.
And Pullman. So I don't know where Banfield really is getting this.
She said at the beginning of that first one I played, documents that have not yet been released. So, but who knows? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but she said she did an interview with the Idaho State Police too. So it is weird. It is very weird. I just want to see him myself.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is Bryan Kohberger turned off Wi-Fi 2 days before murders.
He called his mother within 2 hours of the murders. He called his mother as he returned to the scene of the crime, not even 2 hours later. He called her 2 more times and all told spent 3 hours on the phone with her. Was this out of character? Was this a binge of calls to mom that you were able to identify on his telephone?
Why'd they look at each other? Did you see that?
Yeah.
What was that? Don't look at each other. Tell us. We want to know. This is what Shay was just asking. Was this unusual?
His mother as he returned to the scene of the crime, not even 2 hours later. He called her 2 more times and all told spent 3 hours on the phone with her. Was this out of character? Was this a binge of calls to mom that you were able to identify on his telephone?
This was his normal behavior. Reaching out to mother and father repeatedly. If one didn't respond, he would reach out to the other. He would constantly text them and call them starting as early as 5 or 6 in the morning, his time. And his parents were Eastern. And then also at night to almost talk him into going to sleep and being able to rest.
After the murders?
So, Jared, as I was looking at some of the text messages, I was so, I don't know, I was just jarred by the way he referred to his parents. He texted them. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the wording is...
It was normal talking about texting and calling mom and dad. That doesn't mean like disconnecting from the network and stuff like that was normal. But they're talking about, yes, it was normal for him to call mom and dad at early morning hours and one right after the other if one doesn't answer.
So that's pre-crime, right? As well?
I'm assuming they said it wasn't out of the norm. I would love for them to discern whether or not that was after the murders or before, but I'm assuming before.
Right.
Is pretty close. Father, why is mother not answering the phone?
Wow.
Why is she not picking up, father? He called his parents formally by the names father and mother when speaking to them. Did you see that consistent throughout his text messages to his parents?
Yes, I did. It's eerie. It stands out from any other case that I've worked in that, just the terminology, the phrasing that he used there. I said exactly what you said in the intro. It's Bates Motel. It is this feeling of that movie and Mother, and it's just super eerie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe I'm the only one, but I'm starting to get that vibe from you, from my colleagues, from people I've been talking throughout the day about this. Some people do use a formal name, but knowing what he's capable of now, knowing who he is, it just raises the hair on my arms. About the contacts in his phone, he called his father and mother as contacts in his phone. But what about other contacts, Heather? What about other text chains, other communications? Did this guy have any community of his own?
He had 18 personal contacts.
Oh,
18.
What?
So think about all the people you meet and the hundreds of random numbers. And they were even identified as girl I ran with, second girl I ran with, a contact and in parentheses, hair. But then there was mother and father and his sister.
What the fudge?
Girl I ran with, other girl I ran with, girl hair. Oh no.
Girl hair. What?
Girl hair. Oh no.
I mean, the Barnharts were the digital forensics. experts for the state.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's just I don't know. I want to see it. Like, I can't believe anything else saying let's see it, but it's interesting.
That's very interesting.
It's like
girl fair,
girl at park,
girl at park. Look at Ashley's face.
That's what my face looked like.
Oh my gosh.
All the people you meet and the hundreds of random numbers. And they were even identified as girl I ran with, second girl I ran with.
Oh,
a contact and in parentheses hair. But then there was mother and father and his sister and just a few others. 18.
The hairdresser. Heard that voicemail.
And he's, you know, he's in his 30s. Like this, that's unbelievable in this day and age. It is not unusual for people to have well over 1,000 contacts.
What? Actually,
many thousands of contacts at this stage in our lives. Everything's on our phones.
Listen, Ashley. Okay, you're making me quite insecure over here. I don't have 18, but I don't have 1,000 either.
I'm not holding out my contact info, actually.
Like, it's so norm to have like well over 1,000. Like, Ashley, chill. Like, this is why we can't go with you, because you just have to take it too far.
She forgets she's in media. Like, she's on a whole other planet.
I know. Like, listen, like, Ashley.
She's like 18 contacts. That's one group chat I know.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Slow your roll, girl.
We're adding girl I ran with 1, girl I ran with 2, hair, mother, father, sister, all in the same group chat.
In this day and age, it is not unusual for people to have well over 1,000 contacts. Many thousands of contacts at this stage in our lives. Everything is on our phones. Everything's digital. What about text chains? Did you see any communications with other people other than mother and father?
Not really. No, it was.
Why did you look at
I couldn't name
like
a single person that he communicated with other than just his parents. There was some one-off communications here and there, and there was some emailing and other things. But for texting, if you think of the friend that you sent a message to on a whim, there wasn't one single person like that.
Wow.
And I know that we learned during the final hearings before he was sent packing to the Idaho Maximum Security Institution that he had done quite a job at scrubbing a lot of his devices. How good a job, and how were you able to get past some of what he thought he put over on you?
This was one of the hardest investigations I've ever worked in 23 years of looking at digital data.
Girl, hold on. She looks 23. What do you mean? 23 years you've been doing this? How old are you?
Since she was a fetus.
Do you bathe in formaldehyde? What the fuck? Like, 23 years? Like, so you have to at least add 18 on for that, and that's leaving no time for college. She looks 23. Insecure and shit. First, not because I have thousands of contacts. Now, because I don't look like her. Like, this is real. Like, this, I wasn't expecting this.
I get such a complex after this one segment.
Right? This is why we don't watch Banfield.
Cleaned up well. He knew how to use VPNs. He knew how to use incognito browsing. Where he messed up, downloads on his Android device. He also didn't consider the fact that even on a PC, if you delete, every contact leaves a trace. So we can see the files when you turn something off. We can see when you clear something. All of that was left behind for us.
Let me ask you this. The handshakes that we now find are so helpful in digital forensics when killers don't realize they're connecting to a Wi-Fi where they're not supposed to be. Did he have a lot of questionable digital handshakes, like say at the Mad Greek restaurant where 2 of the victims worked? Did you see anything that was of interest or evidentially helpful with his digital handshakes?
Yeah, I'll break that down sort of with 2 parts. So his Wi-Fi connections, there were just a few. And the interesting part about this is 2 days prior to the murders, he turned off Wi-Fi for his phone. So he just didn't want his device to be able to connect to Wi-Fi. It turned back on soon after the murders. But there was one reference to Mad Greek, and it came from a passive assist file associated with Google Maps. So if you open Google Maps and you search for restaurants near me, if you're near Mad Greek, it would populate, and that reference was then logged on his phone.
Interesting.
And then the other question I have for you is, we just looked at that selfie. We had it up on the screen that he took within hours of the murders. He's freshly washed and he's got the thumbs up. He looks like he's in a bathroom and he looks extremely proud. Were you able to ascertain anything about that photo? Did he manipulate the photo? Did he screen grab it bigger? Did he rest on it for, hours or minutes? Did he send it to anyone? Did you see anything of interest about that picture?
So this photo jumped out to us right away. And I remember us asking the FBI at the time, have you seen this? And they said, yes, we found that already. We're like, okay, but look at his knuckles and how white they are.
Yeah.
To us, it looks like someone that scrubbed them and had to get something off, maybe blood or some kind of residue off his knuckles. Also, the Band-Aid on his finger was there. In that image, you can see a shower curtain.
Band-Aid? Where?
Yeah, it's right there on his, was it middle? Is it the middle finger? Right?
Oh, yeah. Skin tone.
Yeah,
Yep.
some people thought that he took one of Maddie's rings, but it looks like when we read through the autopsies, it didn't note any missing rings. So I guess I don't know.
Wow, that blends right in with his skin. Oh, he had a Band-Aid.
Maybe that's what he bought at Albertsons.
Interesting.
I need to know what he bought at Albertsons.
Well, I don't know about you. I could scrub my hand. I'm not going to lose my pigment. Like it, I don't know what she means by scrubbing his knuckles, like, and it becoming white. Like, you don't lose your pigment if you just keep scrubbing, do you? Like, that's strange. I think a lot of people's hands, when you have it clenched like that, the same way that when you get your blood taken and they may say, make the fist pump, because your blood pumps away. I don't look at it like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Images that he had taken the shower curtain from his apartment was gone. So just small details like that. But he didn't have friends to send this to. And I don't think it's a photo that he would have shared with mother or father. We didn't see any manipulations or access to printing. So it's almost as if he did this and several other selfies of similar nature, but with fewer clothing for himself.
Yeah, it was normal for him to take.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you just say? Similar, but with less clothing, Shay Benet. Interesting. If he is that awkward and mechanical, naturally, I imagine each button unbuttoning, just what are you taking those photos for, if not for mother or father?
For himself?
Well, himself is right.
And do nothing with them. They weren't sent to a person.
So sorry to interrupt, but let me be clear. We've only seen this selfie on the morning of the murders. Did you find other selfies that he took of himself, either in the bathroom or elsewhere, the morning of the murders or that day?
No, not the morning of the murders. Just in general, his selfies that he would take, he would often take like flexing his muscles and shirtless. But again, we have no idea what he did with them. It was just a photo that was taken, and there's no evidence that he was sending them to anyone. It's just kind of for himself.
Hey, listen, sir. All right, I'm going to be fair here. I've taken selfies and sent them to no one. I took them for me. That's all right. I think it's strange if he talked to nobody ever. Okay, but I don't think it's ridiculous to take a photo of yourself and not necessarily send it out.
Yeah, I don't think it's wrong to not send it out. I just, I don't know, maybe because he seemed like he did have a weight issue before, he'd track his progress,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe.
It's the 18 contacts in the phone that get me.
Yeah. Well,
and then Ashley's many of thousands.
Well, thousands. But also, like, he wasn't ever texting his sister or anything either. Sisters.
I don't think he was real close with them.
Yeah.
Well, the bandages that you noticed on his left, I think that's his left hand, unless the photo's reversed. But someone in the class also said in police documents today that they noticed he came to class shortly after the murders. And of course, they don't know about the murders. They're just looking back in hindsight to October, late October. And they said he came in with his two middle.
Did she just say late October?
Yeah.
After the murders, late October?
Yep.
Ashley, maybe you need to text a little bit less with your thousands of contacts and focus a little bit more because the murders didn't happen in October. Ashley.
I know.
Come on.
Fingers bandaged and said, "Oh, he had just had some accident inside his home." One last aha moment that the two of you had, Heather and Jared. He said that his alibi was that he was going to be out stargazing that night, out in the middle of the night, stargazing. But you found something about the phone that would have absolutely obliterated the alibi. Can you explain that?
Sure. Yeah, it seems silly to even write it. But on the night of the murders, he physically pressed the side button and turned his phone off. And that might not seem too significant, but it really is. Because it proves that this human was awake at 2 whatever in the morning and turning his phone off and then later powering it back on. And the crazy part was writing in a report that a phone can't take photos while it's powered off, but just to prove that his alibi was ridiculous.
Wait, hold on. First of all, I don't know about you, but they got some chemistry going on between them. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing a little bit more than digital.
They're married.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're the Barnharts.
Okay, well, you know what? Thanks for confirming. So I'm like, what kind of energy am I picking up here? Okay, so they happen to be brought on as a couple to do the digital forensics.
I think one of them I think actually comes from Celebrite, and they have a side company that they do digital forensics for.
They sure do have a side company.
They're apparently very, very highly sought out for.
I mean,
I don't know. I did a little research on them from all necks of the woods, trying to understand who they were.
Well, you could have told me before, as I'm sitting here this whole time, just picking up on this awkward energy.
I thought you knew they were married because when we read their papers, it was like they were a married couple. And
no, I don't remember everything, girl.
No. I didn't think you were thinking there was awkward energy. I thought you were just
no. That energy is like they are smashing, like for real. I just didn't.
Well, they are for real.
Well, at least we know that I'm somewhat spot on. Like, you're welcome. Okay. How am I supposed to remember the Barnharts are this couple? I don't remember. Damn. But this is very interesting, and it makes a very big difference that he manually powered down his phone. But I want to hear what they had just said now that I could put aside that I'm trying to pick up on what's going on between them. But
what if he's yelling at you?
Just said, why?
She said, but did she put a smart ring on it?
I don't know what that means.
The crazy part was writing in a report that a phone can't take photos while it's powered off, but just...
That's Cy Ray. Cy Ray wrote in a report that a phone can't take photos while being powered off. But yeah, it was powered on when it was taking photos, Mr. Ray.
So proof that his alibi was ridiculous.
Because they said he was changing the metadata.
These people were murdered.
Oh yeah.
Allegedly, there was this theory that he tried to show proof that he was out stargazing, and had sent the photo or something, and he had that software, and he was changing the metadata on it.
He was changing the metadata.
And then you remember how Joseph Scott Morgan was like, "You better be careful with this phone because it was a what did he call it? It's a starts with the W, a Wayne something sky." And it's supposed to be like super, super cloudy, you know? And he's like, there's no way that if he had photos of you would see the stars like that. There's no way.
Right.
And even we heard from like Steve and a lot of other people have kind of made comments. So it must be something behind the scenes.
But he turned his phone off, and then these people were murdered, and then he turned it back on.
Yep.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Well, and also he turned the phone off at 100%, so he could never say the phone just died. Phone was fully back.
It was. Don't just throw that. I want to hear it from them, not you. Actually, the phone was powered off at 100% battery.
Oh,
interesting. If true, interesting.
Range 100%. That's a bit odd.
He was ready to go when he left his apartment, Shay.
So did he just have his phone on the charger while he was talking to his mom the whole time?
This was on his way.
Oh yeah, before. Yeah, you're right.
Battery up. Heather and Jared Barnhart, I cannot thank you enough for this interview. I could talk to you for hours and hours. I'm going to have you back as well. Thank you for helping us sort of sort through a lot of this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for watching.
You're welcome.
They need to like change the exit thing with Chris Cuomo. It's so loud.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's so much. There's so
They're
much.
Married?
They're married?
Ashley kills me. She's so out of touch reality. Vinny's 1,000 of contacts. Okay.
Oh, and then, God, I don't even want to. I'll go to Brian Netton.
Hey, guys.
You know more, Ashley. Let's go to News Daddy.
News Daddy knows best.
Brian reporting on Brian being taunted.
Thanks so much for checking out my channel. Please subscribe. Really appreciate it. We just now got a response from the Idaho Department of Corrections about Bryan Kohberger's, what I think are ridiculous complaints now that he is in the max security prison. I'll tell you what the state is now saying about it. I'll tell you what he's been complaining about, which again, like eye roll for me, but whatever. I'll get into all of it in this episode of Bryan Netton Investigates. Hey guys, thanks again for checking out my new channel.
I'm laughing because I love, like, you know, as eye roll, but like he says eye roll, that's like saying laugh out loud instead of just laughing out loud. You know what I mean? Eye roll.
Like lol.
Oh, News Daddy.
Really appreciate it.
Look at him sitting stoic in the back of the. They always find. I'm sorry, but nothing beats Joe Exotic's Tiger King. They ended up filming those people in empty bathtubs. I don't know if anyone has ever paid attention while watching Tiger King where they interviewed people. One would be on top of a trash can. The one guy was in an empty bathtub, no water, fully clothed. Just, I don't know why they said, yep, this is a perfect spot. Let's record you here. And then we got Brian Netton in the back of the vehicle with the door hatch up. It's interesting.
I know Tiger King.
Dude, I'm telling you, because you probably didn't pay attention the first time around. The girl who just got her arm ripped off and she was back to work the next day, she's next to the garbage can, sitting on the garbage can, just talking, you know, the guy's just in the bare bathtub. Like, it's so like, what is happening here? Does anyone notice this?
Yeah, I've been up there to like the zoo and stuff, and
a friend of ours.
Oh yeah, a friend of ours was a big donor up there.
No way.
Yeah, we would go back there and talk with him, and he's wild, man. It's insane.
Hey, all you cool cat and kittens. That I will always associate with COVID, man. Like COVID went wild and Tiger King came. Like that's how it happened. Carol Baskin.
I met him like probably a little bit before Bay was born. So it'd be like 2012.
Wild, man.
So, yeah, like, and they would go up there quite a bit, and it was like my ex-husband's like boss, and they go with their family, and they invited us, and we went up there, and we were like, this is real, there's like a tiger sanctuary. They're like, yeah, we're donors here, and here comes this guy with like a sick killer mullet and crazy clothes on, and he gave us like our tour. Wild. I never heard of this place before. I was like, and then later on comes the Netflix episode. I was like, oh my God, it's that guy.
It's that guy, Joe Exotic.
So weird.
So funny. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
This episode, I am going to talk about a new statement that we just got from the Idaho Department of Corrections responding to Bryan Kohberger's complaints. Apparently, he has been complaining about things inside the maximum security prison.
Like what?
By the way, I'm still just like my last episode. I found this sort of like kind of cozy place to shoot these episodes while I'm on the road. I have this rental Jeep that I'm in. And I don't know why, just like sitting back here, I have all my stuff back here. So this seemed like an easy place to shoot an episode. But
that's cool.
I'm going to get to all of the complaints that Bryan Kohberger has had about the prison in a second. Also, I'm going to talk to you guys about what it's like inside that prison, because I actually got a full 2.5 hour tour of the prison when I was in Idaho a couple of weeks ago. But let me start off by reading you the latest here from the Idaho Department of Corrections. This is in response to Bryan Kohberger complaining about things in prison. And we just got the statement. Idaho Department of Corrections says, we are aware of Kohberger's complaints about what he considers taunting. Incarcerated individuals commonly communicate with each other in prison. Bryan Kohberger is housed alone in a cell in Idaho Department of Corrections. Security staff maintain a safe and orderly environment for all individuals in our custody. So the Department of Corrections has responded to these allegations made by Bryan Kohberger. And this part now, that was the statement from the Idaho Department of Corrections that I received. This reporting comes from the Daily Mail. They are the ones who have been reporting through sources that Bryan Kohberger has had issues in prison. And what they're saying is inmate number 163214, that's his inmate number, is having a far from smooth sailing experience in prison, that he's been relentlessly tormented by his new jailmates who are shouting through the vents into his cell at all hours of the day. They say that it is rattling Kohberger, driving him crazy. The inmates are tormenting him at night at almost all hours of the day, taunting him through the vents in his cell. They're literally getting up into the grate and yelling at him. The inmates are taking turns doing it. It is relentless. That's what the Daily Mail is reporting, that Kohberger is extremely annoyed and frustrated. He's complaining to authorities that he cannot sleep because of it. And basically, I guess, has just been making these complaints now for the last.
How do you think Bryan Kohberger would store those cellmates in his phone as?
Dude in cell 1.
Contact number 19. Celly to my left. Loud, motherfucker. No way they got this from the interview room. Oh, come on.
Yeah, and you know, there's like girls all trying to like get on his phone list and get access. Like, oh, it's weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We knew that was gonna happen.
Ugh. I don't get it.
Days. And apparently the prison doesn't seem to really care. Which honestly, like, who really cares? I mean, this guy admitted to killing 4 innocent young college kids, and he is annoyed that he can't sleep in prison. I mean, who cares? So I know that Bryan Kohberger is being housed in the J block of the maximum security prison, which is about 30 minutes or so outside of Boise. And that's actually the same block as where the death row inmates are housed, and you're in total isolation. So I got this 2.5 hour tour of the maximum security prison when I was there right before the sentencing. And I didn't see the exact area where Kohberger is now in the J block, but I saw all the other areas where the inmates are that are It's very similar. It's all basically the same. And so he is housed inside a cell by himself 23 hours a day. So he can't really see the other inmates based on what I saw there, because they are also in the cells 23 hours a day. The only time he would be able to see them is when they're brought out one by one, because they each get outside time for 1 hour a day. So When they bring them out, they shackle them. And I guess when they're walking by, Kohberger could have some interaction with them. And they're brought out just for 1 hour a day to this sort of outdoor area that's still totally
the balls.
Enclosed. I mean, it's outside technically because the roof, which has a gate on the top, but you can at least see the sun. But you're not actually like outside, like what you would see in prison in the movies where there's a basketball hoop and all of that stuff. It's still kind of inside. So the only time I think that Kohberger would actually see the other inmates is when they are being brought by his cell when they get their hour out each day. But what they're saying about him saying that he's tormented, what's happening, and I saw this when I was there, is even though the prisoners can't see each other, the cells are still next to each other, and there's 2 stories, and they all yell at each other through the grates. I mean, it happened while I was there. They're constantly screaming, and they find ways to communicate with each other. And when I was there, I saw something happening that the
what is it that
the jail staff told me is called fish.
Yeah, right. I learned it all right here on this channel. Okay, they had a phone book in Tisha's case. As far, and when I say phone book, because certain toilets share pipes with other cells. So AKA, who can your phone connect to? Who can your toilet connect to? And they were able to figure out which cells were talking to which based on the pipes, Shay.
Oh
so
my
they
gosh.
had a toilet phone book. So yeah, they fish and they learn to all flush at the same time to suck all the water out. And then I watched right here on this channel because my chat explained to me what it was. There was this girl who was like, it was a documentary, and she was sitting there munching on like the 50-cent bag of Cheetos, saying, "Yeah,
I remember this.
Got this from myself, across the hall, mate." You know, and she's munching down these Cheetos that she just pulled out of the toilet. That's crazy. It was crazy. Okay. So yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh my god. That's so gross.
They like connected 8,000 spoons, you know, the same amount of context Ashley Manfield has, to one another to create a long fishing line. Too bad Kohberger only has 18 spoons.
Oh my god.
But we knew this was gonna happen. Like that, yeah. They're gonna taunt it. We knew that, you know. Like I expect it to simmer down a bit, though. But I don't know because he's very rigid and awkward. Cannot gauge social interactions, and so I don't think it's going to be a great time for him.
Katie, you're not getting blocked.
What?
She said my comments are getting blocked. I didn't say anything bad. I said you're not getting blocked.
Nobody's comments are getting blocked. You don't block.
Maybe are you in top chat, maybe?
Yeah, make sure you're in all chat.
Which is when they use like a line, like basically they'll, from their clothes or from their blanket, they'll like pull out small, long strings like of cotton or whatever. And they'll almost use it like a fishing line, and they will do what they call fishing, where they'll attach notes to the end of the line, and then they'll put it under their cell door and try to like almost like fish it out into the open and try to get it to another cell so that they can communicate with another prisoner. So that may be some of what's going on with Kohberger there, but it sounds to me like they're just yelling through the grates, which when I was there, I heard a lot of yelling. And it was interesting. The jail staff doesn't really seem to do anything about it because it's kind of like, they don't really care. Let the people yell, gives them something to do, gives the inmates something to do, and just really makes no difference to the staff. The
just
staff
let them yell.
up in sort of a control center up above with thick glass where they look down into the pods. So when they're not down there, it's not like the yelling would really annoy them or anything like that because they're up in the pod, sort of in the control center. So they just let the yelling happen. They let the fishing happen, which we got on video. If you look closely here.
Look at that.
And I'm assuming that's what's annoying Kohberger. But at the end of the day, again, who really cares? I mean,
little rascals.
It is what it is. It's prison.
Yeah, it's prison,
and they're concerned that Kohberger could have a target on his back, that he could be hurt by other prisoners, which is the reason that he is in this basically solitary confinement in the J block. There are other
Right,
areas
Jaden?
in the max prison where people come out into the pods and they can interact with each other, and I saw that. I don't suspect, based on what I have heard, that Kohberger is going to find himself in one of those parts of the prison anytime soon. I mean, he could spend the rest of his life in this solitary area where he's alone in the cell for 23 hours a day. Mostly because, again, they're concerned that he has a target on his back and that he could end up being injured. So after touring the prison, meeting the prison staff, I'm sort of wondering how they're receiving these complaints. I think they take things like that somewhat seriously. But at the same time, again, it is prison, and the people were noisy when I was there, and I think that's just part of it. And I guess Kohberger is going to have to get used to it. He will eventually be able to have his own tablet in his cell, I learned, where he can email and he can listen to music, and you have that 24 hours a day, because he'll never leave the cell besides 1 hour a day.
I wonder if Viv contacted him yet. He's her type. You know what? There's going to be such an overwhelming amount, because there's already girls who have tried to reach out. It's really concerning.
They're changing their last name to him all the time.
And I'm just concerned that he'll be able to escape in the tablet the way that Wade has. No, he shouldn't be able to.
That was my concern too. I'm like, here we go. It's just gonna be, adding money to the commissary and making life easy for him.
Yep.
And that's what people don't want.
Exactly.
I mean, not that people don't want someone to be supported, but to the degree of an, I don't know, sick kind of infamous love is weird.
Yep. Hey, MK.
Yo, MK.
Oh, God. I don't think they'll release his calls, but we'll see. I don't know if we've ever gotten Idaho calls. We didn't get Lori's, didn't get Chad's.
It didn't sound very promising, but
yeah, each state has their own rules.
I also was told he'll be able to buy his own TV at some point. So he'll have access to music, to TV, and it seems like he's just going to have to get used to the other inmates yelling through the vents, because in my experience, that's what was happening there. And when I was there, which this was a couple of weeks ago, but there was a hunger strike going on in part of the prison. So there was essentially this battle happening between the prison warden and prison staff and some of the prisoners. And I forget how many people were on a hunger strike. I think it was a couple of dozen at the time. And what they were protesting is, so there were different gangs in the prison, which they try to get rid of, but there's really nothing you can do about it, because a lot of these people were in gangs before they went on the inside, and they're still in these gangs. And there were two gangs, and some of the gang members were upset that they weren't housed in the same pods as their other fellow gang members, and were trying to protest to get them moved to different parts of the prison. And as part of that, they were on this hunger strike. And I don't know if it's still going on there. This was happening 3 weeks ago when I was there. So there's kind of a lot going on in the prison right now, because you've got the hunger strike, you've got Kohberger, who is now there, and you can tell that everybody is sort of not on edge, but the people who work there know that this is sort of a tense time. And now that you've got Kohberger also complaining.
You go back just a little bit. Look at that little cage. That's where he's going to sit in, because he's in solitary. Right there.
Brian. Yeah. That's his 1 hour out.
I think that they say that's where you get to use maybe his iPod at first, and then eventually maybe he would get one in his cell. When he first ran footage of this back before he was sentenced and he visited, he said something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a tiny
thing. Is interesting, guys. It's the Shola case. Mackenzie Shola.
Oh, I'm still in the Adelson. It's about to start, but the Shola is interesting.
Yeah.
I watched her trial. It was wild.
Yeah, it was. That's what you get when you don't hold kids accountable. Unfortunately, like that, you create monsters. And I'm not saying that blaming the parents. I'm just saying
that girl is wicked.
Yeah.
Something's not right with Shrilla.
No.
That's like the girl that what was her name that she ran into the bride and groom on their wedding night.
What her name
She
was
like, "Daddy, Daddy." She's like really rich.
Daddy.
She's like, I just like hit them, or they hit my car. I didn't hit them.
Horrible. Bride died. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
No, not blaming the mom versus don't hold accountable. That's unfortunately, accountability is a good thing, whether it's your friend, your children, your parents, your spouse, whatever. Hold people accountable. Yes, Jamie Komorowski. Thank you. So there's that.
Yes. I think a lot of people just felt, or it was the victim's parents that just felt indifferent about Shrilla's mom, the way she acted in the hospital after the crash and everything that happened in between. I did, kind of follow it like up until trial, through trial, and a little bit afterwards. But I don't know. I think something was up. I mean, she was obviously staking that place out. I think she meant to do it. I just don't understand why she would do it and think that she would come out alive.
I don't
That's
think
that's what messes with me.
I don't think she planned to.
It's sick.
It is.
This is sort of a tense time. And now that you've got Kohberger also complaining, again, I just wonder if they really care with everything else that's going on there right now. So Chris Madonna was on with Banfield, and he is the director of the Cold Case Foundation, and he's the one with some of this reporting of specifics of what Kohberger says is happening in the prison. And I just want to read you some of what he said to Ashley Banfield. The inmates apparently were waiting on him, and when he got there, they are now making his life absolutely miserable. This is what McDonough is saying. They're utilizing the vent system, they're kicking the doors, they're taunting him, and they're basically, torturing him through psychology. He's complaining, and the guards at this point, the most they can do is write it down and tell him that there's nothing that we can do. You're not in physical harm, which, again, the physical harm is really their main concern here, because they are concerned that someone may want to hurt Kohberger, which I know sounds weird because it's like Kohberger killed these 4 kids and who cares about it? But at the same time, it's the prison's job to keep everybody safe too. And he was sentenced to be there for the rest of his life, so they want to make sure that he stays alive, which is the reason I, again, believe that he is going to stay in solitary confinement there in the J block where he is right now. When I was in Idaho, I interviewed a bondsman, a local bondsman who really knows the prison system well, who explained what it was going to be like for Kohberger in this specific prison and why they were concerned about him having a target on his back. Listen to what he told me. What is this max security prison like?
So the max security prison in Idaho is the most secure facility we have in the state, and it is
that fridge has got nothing but pickles in it. Sorry, my ADHD. Just I was like, oh, what a cute little guy, and I'm like, oh, it's a nice fridge. What's in that fridge? Nothing but pickles.
You say cute little guy?
Yeah, he's a cute little guy. I didn't expect him for a bonds bailsman, but Then I looked at the fridge. I'm like, what's he eating? This cute little guy? Pickles. 4 racks not being utilized, all pickles. Look at Pickle laughing. She's like, yeah, that's me. Nothing but 2 jars of fucking pickles. What a waste of good space.
I love pickles.
Listen, I'm not knocking on the pickles. I'm just saying, if your sole diet is the 2 neatly placed pickle jars in the bottom left, or did he do that because he was being interviewed in front of the pickles? I don't know. Is it placement? Is it ad placement? I don't know.
No, it's really not ad placement.
All right, then he just likes pickles. I'm not a pickle hater. I'm just saying.
You're being very judgmental of the pickles.
All right. I'm not going to judge the pickles.
Secure facility we have in the state.
It zooms up to them.
And it is housed with 540 spaces for inmates. And it's got double fences, double razor wire, electronic monitoring all the way around. And it's positioned with 6 other facilities that Idaho has, from community reintroducement to a women's facility and stuff like that. But that is the most secure facility, and it's where death row is housed.
Pickles. Where are those?
What will Bryan Kohberger's life be like there?
His life is going to be a little more harsh than what it was in the Ada County jail. When he was there, we couldn't legally say he was guilty yet. Now he is guilty. He doesn't have all that, you know,
I think he's a cute little guy.
He is a guilty murderer.
Do you think he's cute? I'm stuck on that.
Okay, when I say cute, I didn't say hot, I didn't say sexy.
He's a cute little guy.
Cute little guy. Yeah, he's a teddy bear with pickles. That's kind of cute. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's wearing a belt, like a little pudge with pickle love. Like, that kind of cute. You know, he's got such cute hair, the curls. I didn't expect him for a bond salesman, okay? I expected him maybe at the desk.
Oh my God, I just can't. I can't with you.
His beard is even cute. Like, it's soft and it's groomed, you know? Like, it's not scruffy. It's groomed and kempt.
No, it's like a little boy that didn't hit puberty. Needs to grow in. It's not cute.
He's got a little Farrah Fawcett spray going on in his hair. Well kept. He looks good. Unbuttoned, but with the undershirt. Appropriate. I'm just looking for a pickle juice somewhere.
It's just not my type, but I like pickles.
He's not my type either. But he's a cute little
he's
guy.
Cute?
Yes, like, aw. I don't want to fuck, aw. Just saying. Making me old. You know, he wouldn't be one of my 18. Okay, Shay? He wouldn't be one of my 18.
Would he be one of your minis of thousands?
Maybe. For the pickles.
As you may know, people in prison don't like people that hurt women or children. And he's hurt women. And that's not something that the inmates there take lightly to. It's something that is definitely going to put a target on his back.
And the people in that same prison are the most dangerous.
They're the most dangerous in Idaho. That's where it is. The facility he's in is a men-only facility, and it's the most dangerous.
Don't encourage her,
prisoners in Idaho.
Wow. Will he be alone all the time?
He will be in confinement. It's not going to be a disciplinary segregation. It's going to be more of an administrative segregation because of the target on his back for murdering women. And he will be out an hour a day. And the former Attorney General of Idaho said he'll probably be in solitary his whole life. And I agree because of that.
So no interaction with other prisoners?
No. The maximum security facility in Idaho does have a step-down program to where they can reintroduce people to other inmates, and they kind of put them in cages in the same room to where they can talk but not have contact.
That's what you were.
But I don't think he will ever get that chance. It's something he would probably be smart not wanting, because there is that target, and people in prison don't forget. He will always have that target.
Yeah, I mean, you know what life is like behind bars because of what you do.
Yes.
I mean, how serious is the risk, do you think, to his life?
The risk to his life is very serious.
I have a feeling when he takes off, like unbuttons that, he has tatted sleeves like a bear's smoking cigars.
You're trying to make him teddy bear all manly with his little.
I guarantee he does.
Beard. No.
I guarantee he does. Bear smoking a cigar, like giving the, showing the guns.
No way.
I'm sure. Maybe holding a pickle. You don't know. Dill, if he's feeling frisky.
The target he has, he's not only, they don't only have to say he's being protected from others, they have to protect other prisoners from him.
I wouldn't take him at all to a star. Nobody. None of them
are going to want to make a name for themselves. Behind bars, it's the game of who's tougher, who's scared of me. And people are going to want to make a name for themselves doing something to him.
So we'll see how all this plays out. I don't suspect we're going to hear much more from the Department of Corrections because
it's louder.
Again, I hate to go back to this, but it's like, who really cares? I mean, if he's not physically harmed and he's just being taunted through the vents and people are yelling, it's like, okay, welcome to prison. I think Kohberger doesn't realize how good he had it first in the Latah County Jail, where I talked to the sheriff there. I mean, they gave him vegan meals, they gave him his own TV. You know, from what we can tell, he was treated really fairly. And then also in the Ada County Jail, same thing. And I think that, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty when you're inside of a jail. Before, you know, you either plead guilty or you're found guilty by a jury and you're awaiting trial and you're in the county jail, you're innocent until proven guilty. Even with the evidence against you, that is still for the most part how you are treated, and how people think of you. Now,
are you ever sitting in the nice lit daylight with no lights on, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's pitch dark everywhere in your house? I gotta turn on a lamp. That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden I looked up and it's pitch dark.
Or it's like, I don't know what's going on. What happened?
It's okay. Everything is within 18 inches of each other. I already turned it on. We're good. Okay.
Now that Kohberger has pled guilty and has said, yes, I did it, I killed these 4 college kids, and you go to prison and you go to the most serious max security prison in Idaho, I mean, some of this just comes with the territory. So I'm going to continue to follow it, but truthfully, I don't think you're going to see me cover his prison life in great detail.
Good.
And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And if things pop up a little, I will. And this is the first thing. And I know people are curious, but for me, I just don't care. I mean, you're in prison, dude. You killed 4 people.
Yep.
You avoided the death penalty.
Yep.
If they're yelling at you through the vents,
whatever.
So that's the latest. Working on a couple of other videos for this week, some new Kohberger developments. So I'll post those over the next couple of days, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, Newsati.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So I think that's pretty much, like, unless more has been released already, like, that I feel like we got well-rounded, right?
Yeah. What do you want to do?
Well, no, well, we already did that. See, there's this, like, and that's why I don't know. Hold on. Should have started with News Daddy.
Got a lot for the way he does his job. And
jump ahead.
Thanks so much for having me.
And you just had this article come out, one of the many articles and scoops that you've gotten, you know, over the last, even since the sentencing, which I'll put a link in the comments to the Idaho Statesman article.
Kevin Fixler.
Through
my man.
That's your boy.
Like from beginning.
That's my boy, ain't he cute?
And
Kevin Fixler.
A lot of memories from the beginning and just kind of what was going on in Moscow. And in the beginning of your article, you really zero in on sort of when there were no leads. I mean, you know, days and days and days went by where we weren't hearing anything.
Yeah, that's right. And with my colleague Alex Brizzi, we walked through all the Moscow police reports that were released, the 315 of those that really made up the backbone of this story, which is an enterprise piece, about 5,000 words. Some people, this is the kind of thing you grab a cup of coffee and settle in a hashtag Sunday read, I guess you'd call it. But it starts with the Moscow police reports, and then Alex spoke with then Captain Anthony Dollinger, who's now the police chief for Moscow. So I had a conversation with him, and I handled the conversation with one of the lead investigators, which is Karen Gilbertson for Idaho State Police. And through that conversation, I learned their process. And I think some of the most interesting things are we basically learned they really didn't do much after weeks of investigating. And it's not for lack of effort or lack of leads. And they explored all sorts of potential suspects. And once they corroborated whereabouts and checked alibis or phone
it's
information.
The one below it. It's the one that says, just digging through 600 new Kohberger docs.
I thought I clicked that.
No, you clicked the one above it.
Hey guys, thanks so much.
With this interview with Fix.
Well, sorry to take your man off.
I love you, Fix. Sorry.
And then maybe I'll do a future episode where I, go back to some other nuggets. But I want to start with
give it to us.
This is the narrative.
Now, see, this is how it should be done. You got the documents right in front of him. Okay, so I'm more likely to believe he's actually getting information correct. And we're going to go through all these documents. We're kind of just jumping ahead on this live because I don't want to. It's hard to duck and avoid everything when it's everywhere, and it's everywhere. So I kind of just wanted to catch up and see like the cliff notes before we continue going through the reports.
Dylan Mortonson. She gave a very detailed account to police. And a lot of this stuff is going to be stuff that we know the basics, but now we have the detail. So I'm going to read you Dylan's account of what she told the police when she was first interviewed. And then I'm going to get to, just so you know what else is coming up, there's a ton of reports from people who were in class with Bryan Kohberger at Washington State and colleagues of his who are also in the PhD program. Just really disturbing stuff. I knew some of this, that they thought he was sexist and that he was rude to women in class, but like this goes much deeper. So I'm also going to get to that after I read you this.
When did you start listening on a speed up speed?
All right.
I'm just, since I become weak and tired, and I'm just accepting like 1.5 isn't 2 times. Okay. I can't do 2 times, but I'm trying on 1.5.
I'm so proud of you to try. It really does help.
Just for time related purposes. Not because I could really understand. It really messes with my brain hearing him talk fast, but we're going to try.
That's why I was shocked, because I know you can't handle fast speed unless somebody talks normally slow.
I know, which is funny because I talk at the speed of light, but like, I don't know. It's different when you speed the person up, you know?
This is Dylan when she talked to police. She advised around 4 a.m. or 4:20 a.m. She heard Kaylee singing and playing music. She heard who she believed Kaylee was walking up the stairs, and blank advised she heard Kaylee say, "Someone's here." She sounded frantic. And they don't name Dylan here, but I've just pieced together that that's who it is. Blank described Kaylee's tone as somewhere between talking and yelling. She believed it was Kaylee who was walking up the stairs with Murphy. She said she heard who she believed to be Kaylee running down the stairs. She advised Murphy was barking at this time. She does not believe Murphy is normally a barker. She further stated she believed it was Kaylee who was running down the stairs after she heard her say, "Someone is here." She further explained she does not know if she actually heard this or whether she was drunk and did not actually hear any of this. She heard the footsteps of who she believed to be Kaylee. She explained all the girls wear Doc Martens and that this is what she believed she was wearing, what she was hearing Kaylee coming down the stairs wearing, her Doc Martens, because of the sound of the footsteps coming down the stairs. Blank called Blank at 4:19 a.m., then Xana at 4:20 a.m., Kaylee at 4:20 a.m., and then Blank again at 4:20 a.m. Blank advised Blank told her about seeing fireworks. She texted Blank last time at 4:27 a.m. before she went to Blank's room. Blank then explained when she first opened her door and said she did not see anyone. The second time when she opened the door, she heard who she believed to be Kaylee crying, and Blank believed Kaylee was in the second floor bathroom. She then heard a male voice, which she stated she had never heard before, say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Blank believed the unidentified male was in the bathroom and with the person who was crying. She believes it was Kaylee who was the one crying. Blank stated that now, sorry, there's some typos. Blank stated that now she has gathered additional information and now believes it was probably Xana who was crying. At the moment of hearing the crying, she stated she believed it was Kaylee who was crying. She advised she knows the male's voice was not Ethan's. She described the last episode of Vampire Diaries, and she remembered it was 2 males rescuing a female. She explained it was not violent. She advised the male figure in the last episode was wearing all black, but Blank explained that that was normal for the series. Apparently they've been watching that. She's not certain whether she heard Murphy barking during the first time she opened her door, but she advised it was possible he was barking, but Murphy was moving away from the house. She described Murphy was a puppy, and Blank had just met him in August. She could not describe Murphy as being skittish. She advised she opened and closed her door a total of 3 times, and the 4th time is when she left her bedroom to go downstairs to Blank's bedroom. Blank advised she continued to call and text her roommates, but received no answer. She provided the time she called and texted her roommates, and the time span she advised would have been between 4:20 a.m. and 4:27 a.m. She advised she never thought about an intruder, and in her mind, she stated she was not processing what was occurring as threatening. She's not processing it as threatening. She advised she believed the male was directing his conversation of who she believed was Kaylee. She advised she did not believe the male was directing that statement to her. In discussing why the defender did not harm her, it was discussed that it was possible the male knew her and wanted to protect her, and she said she understood that that was possible, but she denied knowing who the suspect was. Blank further explained she Snapchatted Ethan but received no answer from Ethan. Blank thought Ethan was still either at Blank Chi, Sigma Chi, or was at home. She was not certain. The first time Blank opened the door, she said her vision was blurry or fuzzy, but she advised she saw a figure of someone that was dressed in all black, and they were masked, and he was holding an item of what she initially perceived was a vacuum, but she said that did not make sense to her. She described the suspect as not being muscular, but being skinny and toned like a basketball player. She further described him as being taller than 5'10" frame by at least 3 inches, so he would have been 6 feet in height. She advised he had to have her call Kaylee and Xana, and she advised he had to have heard her call Kaylee and Xana, and she thought he would have had to have heard her calling for them, and she was confused as to why.
See, so she did call out to Kaylee and Xana verbally, but I don't even know if he would have heard it with the adrenaline rush and what he was doing.
I remember us reading one where it said that Dylan called out Kaylee's name.
Yeah. Yep. And to be quiet, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Why he did not come to her room. A lot of us had questions about that. She described the item the suspect was holding, which was advised was like a cylinder, as she remembered a cop talking about how a bow, she was trying to ascertain if what she saw was in fact shaped like a bow. Further stated she thought that maybe it was a firefighter because of what blank told her about seeing a firecracker. She advised he would have been approximately interesting the firecracker thing, by the way, 3 feet away from her, and she believed she saw him walking up the backsliding ladder.
What did he say about a firecracker? Okay.
A bow. Further stated she thought that maybe it was a firefighter because of what blank told her about seeing a firecracker. She advised he would have been approximately interesting the firecracker thing, by the way, 3 feet away from her, and she believed she saw him walking out the back sliding glass door. He had looked at her before walking out the back door. She was not certain if he could see her whole body or just her head. At 4:22 a.m., then blank corrected her
he looked
time and
back at her.
She advised
You see that? He looked back at her. I think he just fully believed he didn't have time.
Okay, yeah, you gotta rewind that.
Her, and she believed she saw him walking out the back sliding glass door. He had looked at her before walking out the back door. She was not certain if he could see her whole body or just her head. At 4:22 a.m., then blank corrected her time and stated actually 4:23 a.m. She advised she texted blank and they conversed about someone wearing all black, and blank said something to the effect of, "What the F? Why is Xana wearing all black?" Blank explained she was not certain if she had been dreaming this or if it was real. Blank explained she saw the suspect holding something she believed to be cylinder-shaped and also shaped like a triangle at the bottom of the cylinder shape. She advised the suspect was approximately 3 feet away from her, and he looked at her but was walking out the sliding door when she saw him. She said she saw his eyebrows. At approximately 4:23 a.m., she texted blank to tell her she saw a masked suspect in their house. Blank responded at approximately 4:25 a.m., telling her to come to her blank bedroom and that it's better than being alone. Blank then left her bedroom after opening the door the 4th time and ran to blank's bedroom downstairs. Again, this is Dylan and Bethany, but they've redacted. Blank advised when she left her bedroom, she looked down the hallway to Xana's bedroom, and she could see Xana lying on her back in her underwear, but she thought at that time Xana was passed out. Blank stated she never went to Xana's bedroom, and she could only see Xana from the hallway as she was running to get to Blank's bedroom, Dylan to Bethany's bedroom. She advised she was too scared to go into Xana's bedroom, and she knew Blank was awake, and she knew to go there because she was scared. She saw Xana was wearing her underwear, and she explained Xana was comfortable enough with the roommates that she would wear her underwear around them, so this was not unusual. When asked about the lighting conditions inside the residence, she advised that possibly Xana...
And I didn't realize it was light enough to even see her laying there in her underwear.
This light was on, or the party lights were on, and that is how she was able to see Xana, because otherwise she would not have been able to see her lying on the floor without any lights being on. She was not certain if the bathroom lights were on, but she was not certain what lights were on, if any. She advised Xana did not say anything. Blank stated she did not think anything was wrong, so still didn't think anything was wrong. She later offered she may have been able to see Xana lying on the floor because they also had a Sensi light, and it could have been she was able to see Xana from the Sensi light. She explained she's been trying to determine what was real from everything that she had been talking about with Sergeant Blaker and myself. She advised she knew at the time with Blank, Kaylee, and Maddie were real because she has seen the video of them together, so there's video. She was not certain how Blank got home that day. She further explained she'd been trying to piece things together because some things do not make sense to her. She stated that she is being truthful, but some of what she's been discussing, she's not certain is factual. She has been working through it, trying to remember what happened. Blank was asked if the female who was crying was saying anything, and she advised no, the female was only crying, and the male was the only one talking. She described the item the suspect was holding as cylinder-shaped and was also triangular-shaped. She could not remember if the lights were on or off when she encountered the male suspect. She advised she does not know if this is even something she saw or it was something she dreamed. She advised the last time she saw Xana was at Blank House at approximately 11:04 p.m., confirmed this by checking her cell phone. Xana had been holding a white claw. She was at Blank at 12:49 a.m. That part I don't really understand. She further advised Xana and Ethan did not stay at Ethan's house with any frequency because of Ethan's grades. He could not reside at the fraternity. He had his own apartment, but she does not know where his apartment is because she had never been there. She knows Kaylee and Maddie were home when she went to bed, and Blank and from when
nobody
she saw
ever
Xana
talks
lying on the
about
floor,
where
but she's not
Ethan
certain about
lived.
whether Ethan was home.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, most people kind of skip over Ethan a lot, which I don't think is right.
No, I don't think it's fair.
Stated she is certain at 3:11 a.m., Kaylee, Maddie, and she were all in the house. She was not certain about Xana and Ethan because she does not know when they came home. She denied perceiving a threat even after encountering the male in the hallway. So she denied perceiving a threat even after encountering the male in the hallway. She said there were people coming in and out of their house all the time. She denied remembering what his face looked like and said she could see that his head and mouth were covered, but she could not see his eyebrows, and further advised she was not certain she could see his nose. When asked if she couldn't see, it says there she couldn't see his eyebrows. When asked if she knew what balaclava was, she said no. So I asked Sergeant Blaker to show her a picture of a balaclava from a cell phone, and upon looking at the picture of a balaclava, she stated that could have been it. She does not remember seeing his mouth or nose, but she could see his eyebrows. Now, when asked if any of her roommates told her about prior incidents involving anything that concerned them, she advised Kaylee had told them Blank and the other roommates about an incident a month prior when she was outside with Murphy about a subject who had been watching her. The subject was in the apartments above the girl's residence. Blank further explained that 2 to 3 weeks ago, while at Winco, Kaylee told her about a male subject who followed her from the Winco store all the way to Kaylee's car, even when Kaylee went to leave the subject,
different,
was standing by
Melissa.
Kaylee's car. We've heard about that.
These are Idaho State
Also, 2 to 3 weeks
police
ago,
reports.
all of the roommates went to Starbucks
Yeah,
together,
look at
and when
them.
they
Look
got home,
different than
the
what
front
we
door was
have.
wide open, and they
Yeah.
did not believe it had been open when they left. She explained there were prior issues with the front door, so she said it was possible the door opened because there had been a snowstorm, and she explained possibly the wind caused the door to open. Also, when they got home, the washer was going, which she described was not unusual, but this also concerned her. She explained because of these things, they went to get Ethan's golf clubs to protect themselves when they searched the house.
The
Blake
golf
explained weeks
club.
prior to the 13th, Kaylee told the roommate she heard a woman scream, but no one else heard it. Blake was asked if she was telling either Sergeant Baker or I anything to prevent us from solving this, and she advised no, that she understood my question, and she advised that she knew she did not sleep through the whole incident because she has texted communications and other things, and she knows that they would have required her to be awake. She advised she knows what she heard, especially about hearing who she believes was Kaylee crying, and the male voice telling her that he was there for her. Interesting. She stated again, she does not know how much of what she has been telling us was not factual because she's still processing the events. When asked why she believes she was spared after the male suspects are, she said she does not know why, and she does not believe anyone ever tried to open the door during the time he was in the house, and he could have easily have done so. And why would he have passed by her room multiple times? She volunteered that to come through the sliding glass door, the person would have had to have scaled a tall wall. She advised the suspect would have known her room would have been occupied because he appeared to have known the layout of the house. She also said it could have been someone who was in the house last year when the other girls were living in the house. She advised there was no one she knows who could have wanted to hurt the girls, and the girls were loved by everyone. She said she had never heard rumors which were negative about any of the victims. When asked about Kaylee's ex-boyfriend, advised the breakup was mutual, and they had their dog Murphy in common. And then she brought up some other names. She offered her DNA. She advised it might be difficult to locate the offender's DNA because they had conducted a deep clean of their residence leading up to the parents' weekend. Let's see. Some of this I'm reading for the first time, so bear with me. When asked if she could able to provide a description of police to a police artist, like a sketch artist, she said she would not be able to describe enough of the suspect to be helpful. She further advised the only thing she remembered about his face was his eyebrows were bushy, so that's where the bushy eyebrows came from. She advises she was confused about why the offender would have taken the patio door out of the residence because of the drop-off from the patio. She advised she remembers that cars do come by the residence a lot, and she said there was a black truck driving past the window, and she further said she was not absolutely certain that it was a black truck and apparently was confused. When asked what occurred after she went to Blake's bedroom, she said they eventually fell asleep. She advised her friends of theirs was planning a memorial event, and that's helped her emotionally because at this point she's obviously dealing with everything. Let's see. When she awakened that morning, Blank was next to her in bed. We know that was Bethany. They were both too scared to leave the room to even go to the bathroom. 11:23 a.m., 10:23 a.m. said she texted Maddie. We knew about these text messages. Then explained when she reached out to Blank in the text message, which Blank told her it was 10:50 a.m., but she thinks Blank was mistaken, told her she would send to their house. Sorry, there's a lot redacted here. It's hard to understand. She advised they stayed in the house when the police arrived, and the police were putting the tape up, and they realized there had been a crime. And when they saw the ambulance arrive and leave, Blank told them they would not leave unless there was no reason to stay. She then advised said that the vandal alert came out, and that's when they realized that their friends were actually gone. When asked if she checked the house for anyone else when she initially came home that night with Blank, and she was asked if she had to unlock the front door, and she advised she believed she had to unlock the front door to get into the residence. She advised when she first got home, she remembered the sliding door was closed, but she did not know if it was locked. She advised when she first got home, she went to Kaylee's bedroom to let Murphy out of Kaylee's room, and Kaylee's lights were on, and no one was in Kaylee's room. Murphy came back into the house after going outside. So first of all, my heart goes out to Dylan. I mean, I know I read all of that kind of fast and unemotionally, but you just imagine what she must have been going through during this police interview.
Melissa, I got him.
So that's
you got him?
Detailed.
Yeah, I got him.
How'd you get them?
I just hold on. Let me.
I don't need it. I don't care. Never mind.
Yeah.
Tell me how you got them.
No, I'm trying to. Let me. I'm gonna.
Was it from one of your 18 contacts?
Yeah.
Okay. Can at least Violet have them?
Yeah. Let me save him. Let me go save him to the drive right now.
Okay. Thanks.
I got him. I found him when I sent you a link. I just started clicking on stuff, and it opened up to 556 pages of them.
That's how you do it.
Okay. I got him. Let me add him to the G drive.
Of Dylan's that we have heard to yet that's now been released in this report. So again, lastly, I'm going to get to which was among the craziest to me, all the reports from the other students who were in class with Bryan Kohberger. But I want to read you some of this. This is a detailed police report about what officers saw when they first went into the scene. At noon, NPD was dispatched to an unconscious person inside the residence. When they arrived, 2 household occupants identified as Blank and Blank, along with 2 other females, and 1 male were outside the residence. The male identified Blank stated when he had entered the house, he grabbed a knife from the kitchen and cleared the 1st and 2nd floors, which we knew about this, and then placed the knife on a table inside the living room. When officers entered the house, they found 2 deceased residents, Kernodle and Chapin, inside a bedroom on the 2nd floor. The officers also found 2 more deceased residents, Goncalves and Mogen, in a bedroom on the 3rd floor. All the victims appeared to have multiple stab wounds. The sliding glass doors located in the kitchen, 2nd floor rear of house, was open, and there was a set of footprints in the melting snow leading into and away from the residence.
Wow.
Footprints. There was 1 shoe print near the western edge of the property leading west into a neighbor's yard. In the front of the residence north were 5 vehicles belonging to the deceased residents. Sometime in the early morning hours, Blank was awoken and opened her room door and heard a male say, "It's okay, Kaylee, I'm here for you," and crying. She then shut her door. A short while later, she opened her door again and saw someone apparently 5'10" tall, dressed in all black with a ski mask, standing in the kitchen. She made eye contact with the person and could see they were Caucasian through the cutouts of the eyes. She shut her door again and texted blank, whose bedroom is on the blank, told her to join her in her room, and blank ran downstairs where they fell asleep. Let's see if there's anything else interesting here. They just go through really describing the whole, I could see a female, from the living room looking into the west bedroom, I could see a female Kernodle lying near the center of the room. Her legs and arms appeared to be covered in blood. As I entered the bedroom, I saw multiple drops of red liquid near the entrance and multiple red colored drips on the door above and below the doorknob. A male, Chapin, was laying in the bed, partially covered with a blanket and comforter. His neck and chest were heavily covered in a red liquid. Multiple walls appeared to have red colored cast off, and there were multiple areas on the floor with pools of red colored liquid. So all of this is just awful to hear about. They talk about sort of the condition of all the different rooms. As I walked south up the stairs, they switched back and forth on the center wall banister were red-colored liquid smears. They appeared to be blood smears. At the top of the stairs was a small hallway. Directly to the left was a bedroom. Goncalves'. The bedroom was clean and the bed unmade, and a black-colored coat laying on the ground next to the bed on the left side. On the right side, east of the hallway, it ended with a bathroom. As I entered the bedroom, there was a bed directly to the left. On the bed were Goncalves' and Mogen. They were covered by a beige-colored comforter with a large pool of red liquid near the center of the comforter. Multiple walls. The ceiling had multiple areas of red-colored cast-off. It's just awful. Mogen had multiple visible cuts on her face. Goncalves had severe trauma to her face and visible cuts with a large amount of dried red-colored liquid on her face, though there appeared to be aspirated blood coming from her mouth. It's just also awful. Near Mogen's left hip was a tan-colored leather sheath, partially covered by the comforter. So there's the sheath. On the door edge, I saw multiple red-colored transfer smears. The upper mark was at approximately my shoulder height. All the red-colored liquids were in the room were consistent with blood. And then it goes through basically all the different pieces of evidence that they took from the house. So that's the detailed report on when officers first went into the house. So again, there's a lot for me to get to in all of these reports. And I'm gonna have to do more episodes because there's other interesting details. But the last thing I wanted to get to today is, and there's a lot of them, so I'll try to go through not everything, but these are all people who were at Washington State University, whether they were staff or other students of Bryan Kohberger, who complained about Bryan Kohberger. Let me see here.
Melissa, they're on the drive now.
Awesome.
So let me start.
Now I want to know what's in those.
So let me see. Do I have to go back?
Hold on 1 second.
Idaho State, please. Okay.
Well, hold on. Will that not open for you?
No.
Okay, 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Well, I could
Hold on.
download anyway. I did it.
Okay. I just tried adding it again because I don't know why.
Just heads up, I have no idea what's in here, guys. So like we're going through it at the same time. Okay. Initial call out. Okay, so they interviewed people. Kaylee Goncalves. Why is victim 1, victim 5? Huh? Victim 2, Kaylee. Victim 3, Maddie. Victim 4, Xana. Victim 5, Ethan. Why is it listed like that?
I don't know. I'm really.
That's strange. Oh, no. Hold on. Wait. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay. Okay, no. Sorry, I want to make sure other addresses weren't being showed.
I haven't even looked at them yet. I just saw they were.
Thank you, Mallory, for 7 months. Okay, so let's see. Evidence, non-drug. So we got buccal swabs. Okay, so like this is all. Okay, so they interviewed. This is going to be hard. Okay, hold on. I'm just going to kind of like scroll. Okay, so these are all the interviews. And they're fully redacted. We don't even have letters. You know what? I'm probably going to have to scroll first because I don't want to.
Yeah. I think we might need a preview because there's quite a bit.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to accidentally scroll upon something I shouldn't. So let me just have him.
This interview is conducted. Again, all of this is redacted, so bear with me.
Yeah.
One, but contact with Bryan Kohberger because Kohberger was a student seeking criminal justice doctorate. They had met several times to discuss requirements.
Oh wow, there's a lot.
Studies to sound like a staff member.
Mm-hmm.
In social settings, described Kohberger.
That's why you have to download the file yourself because it's 600 pages.
Did tell Kohberger was removed. This is someone in Pullman, Washington, also someone associated with Washington State University. Said she held this, so she worked there, had held a position for blank amount of years during the normal course of her duties. She regularly interacted with Kohberger. This occurred during new student course orientation.
She
described her initial reaction to Kohberger as ordinary, noting he came across as lonely, and the Kohberger's home state of Pennsylvania. They would strike up conversations about that. As weeks progressed, Kohberger would hang out in the hallways outside her office, described Kohberger as creepy, and he would simply stand at her desk and stare at her to her coworker, at one stage blocking the coworker in her desk area. He would also follow them out to their cars at the end of the day. He continued behavior that resulted in some kind of meeting happening. Said complaints from faculty members, administrative staff, and other
students. They got the footage of Kaylee at the store and everything. And it's under stalkers.
What?
Yeah, I scroll to the bottom and go up because everyone scrolls from up, go down, you know, like, but if you go all the way down, it's stalkers.
Wow.
Yeah.
To blank, these complaints reference his rude and belittling behavior toward women and his unprofessional rude dealings with his blank. This resulted in a mandatory training class for all graduate students regarding behavior expectations. She said during Kohberger's attendance at this class, he sat at the back with his hands behind his head, staring at the ceiling. Blank said in total 9 complaints. So 9 complaints had been filed against Kohberger. And I'm going to get to more here. This person said they met Kohberger at a pool party in July of 2022. The pool party occurred, says the location's blacked out. When she met Kohberger, they had a brief conversation, exchanged numbers.
This is,
I see all the ones he's reading. She never talked to him again. This is a graduate student who also worked at the program at Washington State, said that she was a fellow colleague of Kohberger. They were on a project together. She had limited interactions. She first met Kohberger in her office. They discussed the use of alcohol and the effects of marijuana on society. He told her he was not a drinker and did not understand why people drank. She said Kohberger really liked to discuss research and he liked to dominate the conversations. She described him standing in the doorway and hovering. She never felt uncomfortable around him. He had a macho demeanor about him and would appear to be puffed up. The only thing she felt was off about Kohberger was his intense stare. He would intensely stare at people even when he wasn't having a conversation with that person. Let's see what else here. This is another person who went to school with him at Washington State. Recalled Kohberger talking constantly during their class. He would pick fights with other classmates. She described an argument where blank left the class upset. She had heard he had an incident with a female professor where Kohberger disagreed with the grade he was given. Kohberger went to a male professor to complain about the grade. The female professor described Kohberger as weird, but he had never threatened her. In one instance, after class, Kohberger and her were alone. When she was trying to leave the classroom, he blocked her exit. This is another student. She described him blocking her with his physical stance. Kohberger said they would meet up sometime and talk about her professional career. She felt he just wanted to keep the discussion going even though class was over. After the homicides, Kohberger stopped bringing a cell phone to class and started bringing his laptop. She never saw Kohberger using the laptop prior to the homicides. She noticed him always using his phone because he was very studious. She believed he would take notes on his phone. She described the change in his appearance after the homicides. He would normally be clean shaven and neatly dressed. After the homicides, he would come to class with facial hair and his dress would be disheveled. He also started wearing a thick black coat that he never took off during a 3-hour class. The weather did not really call for a heavy coat. Why was he wearing a heavy coat? That's interesting. Maybe to cover up injuries. Right. This is another person from Washington State, another interview. Said she first met Kohberger on campus in a meet and greet. Said she invited the whole cohort to her apartment during the 2nd or 3rd week of school, and believes that Kohberger may have looked in her bathroom cabinet and observed her prescriptions because she does not openly share with others about her. Apparently, he knew something about her. Said after her interaction with Kohberger, she began to distance herself from him and heard complaints from other female graduate students about how Kohberger would make them uncomfortable. Blank said as the semester progressed, there were numerous interactions with Kohberger, staring at students weirdly during class and spatially trapping fellow students in the student offices. Creepy. Stated when she was not around, Kohberger would spatially trap, that's the way to describe it, other students in their offices. Stated there was a spiff during class between Blank and Kohberger in which Kohberger was mansplaining to Blank. Said as the disagreement progressed. During questioning about Kohberger's overall performance in school, Blank stated she did not think Kohberger was doing very well, as they could get a general idea of everyone's grades through a process of elimination. She'd heard Kohberger's was inadequate to grade his papers because he was, this part's all blacked out, hard to understand. but maybe he wasn't doing well in school. When asked about Kohberger's demeanor after November 13, 2022, she said Kohberger's demeanor did change. However, she attributed it to being called out about not being a good TA. Recalled Kohberger smiling at her more and being more respectful towards her. During additional follow-up, she stated Kohberger always wore a puffy coat to class, both prior to and after the homicides. Let's see. She provided additional examples regarding Kohberger blocking fellow students in their offices. Just creepy.
They don't even provide you initials.
No, that's what I was just saying.
Sorry,
No
I'm running through all this
initials.
in real time with you guys.
Oh, that'll
Said
be
during
fun.
2 extensive student presentations on sexual victimization on college campuses and stalking, Kohberger sat through them and did not interject himself into the conversation. Regarding the death penalty, Blank reported Kohberger previously appeared to be in support of the death penalty and made statements that the victim's family should have a say as to whether or not the death penalty really be imposed. They attended a barbecue together. It sounds like they had like grad student social events that they would all go to. Described Kohberger as becoming quieter and quieter, not speaking up in class. That he arrived late on November 9th. Described an interaction with Kohberger after leaving one evening when she was Blank and Kohberger trapped her in a conversation with him. Stated she was not aware of Kohberger having any social media. Blank said Kohberger showed her pictures of him in a hiking area. She said she found snow footprints leading to a back window of her apartment. Whoever had left the footprints had backtracked within the tracks, and her fiance installed security cameras in response to the footprints. They all seemed really creeped out by him. And it's a lot of these same stories. Again, 13 reports were pertaining to
seriously
Kohberger,
think he
highlighting
broke
concerns
into
regarding his
his
behavior. Let's talk
friend's
about that again.
apartment.
Let's see. Another undergraduate
What'd you say?
saying that Kohberger's behavior was of concern, inappropriate behavior that was reported to professors.
His friend that was the was she Korean or Vietnamese?
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that he took her keys and broke in her apartment.
Oh, for sure. And what was even stranger is that she was attracted to him and he had the opportunity, but he didn't want to because I don't think she
wasn't his type. He had a type.
Right. Exactly.
In my opinion, I think he had a type.
He for sure did. And I don't think he wanted an open relationship. He didn't know how to. So I think he got a satisfaction from doing things from afar in a different sense.
Mm-hmm. I still think he may have been in the woods there.
I'm starting to consider it. Yeah.
Was focusing his attention on one woman in her office and engaged in unsolicited debates and arguments regarding topics she felt were not up for debate. And explained an incident in class where the topic of eyewitness misidentification was being discussed. Blank was explaining her viewpoints due to her background in the topic. Kohberger was agitated and argumentative because he did not agree with the explanation. They were trying to figure out if Kohberger had social media. It seemed like a lot of the detectives, because they were asking about that a lot. Another student noted that after Thanksgiving break, Kohberger was very quiet, felt Kohberger must have realized his behavior was being accounted for, and this was causing a lack of engagement. Oh, this is interesting. Blank said she saw Kohberger with injuries to his left hand while in class, sat to Kohberger's left 3 feet away from him, and during a class following Thanksgiving break, she had clear vision of his left hand, described the injury as bruised knuckles. The redness was halfway up the back of the left hand from his knuckles, and he had a cut in his ring finger knuckle. Kohberger had told Blank he was a boxer, said Kohberger did not try to hide the injured hand. Interesting. So they spotted the injury. Just make sure nothing else is coming through here. These are all just more counts from other students and professors. So this is someone who says there were complaints about Kohberger, and he spoke to other staff and students. His stating of outspoken discriminatory comments, which were homophobic, xenophobic, and misogynistic in nature. He would also stare at people and stand uncomfortably close or lean over women, making them feel uncomfortable. Another person says staff had talked to Kohberger as many as 5 times about his behavior. Sorry, there's just so much here. Blank recounted an incident in which her neighbor saw someone very close outside her window and Blank to make sure the door was locked. Blank did not know who that person was, but learned she lived fairly close to Kohberger. Blank learned from professors that Kohberger was fired as a teacher's assistant after fall 2022. So some of these women were even concerned he was like outside their house. This is another student. I asked Blank if Kohberger acted any differently after the homicides in Moscow. After thinking about it, Blank said it was right around the same time that Kohberger stopped coming into the office as much. Prior to that time, Blank had described Kohberger as somewhat arrogant and held her head up high when describing him. After that time, Blank said Kohberger kept to himself more and seemed to be less interactive. When she described Kohberger after the homicides, Blank kept her head down. Following her complaints that they received about Kohberger, he was disrespectful toward his professors. He instigated contentious arguments in class. He expressed concern over over other classmates, one that had a hearing disability. He only talked back to or criticized female professors and students, so he's sexist. He thinks highly of himself and doesn't interact well with others. A lot of this stuff, I mean, it's like crazy. They're all saying the same thing. More women feeling weird, like he was cornering them in their offices. Let's see. Oh, this is the whole search warrant, which we've seen before when they went into Kohberger's apartment.
Okay, we can read this one And then we're going to have to start going over all of these. But this one, because Harlot had just mentioned it, we could start to read this one. So this one is with suspect being Bryan and witnesses, acquaintances. And it said that on December 30th, they interviewed Redacted regarding her interactions, and they even have Bryan's name wrong. And she said the first time she met Kohberger was with another student named Redacted and friends who both came to Redacted's where they acquired their master's degree. This meeting occurred at the graduate student orientation. So Kohberger came up to them and said she instantly had a bad feeling about him. She told Redacted how she felt, and Redacted said to give him a chance. So she said she had confronted Kohberger early on about the way he was speaking to women. She said she noticed early on that Kohberger did not like people that were not of his demographic. There you go, Shay. She explained that there are a diverse class of different types of people in their class. On one day, Kohberger was being rude to a deaf student named Redacted and said she called him out on how he spoke to her. She described how Kohberger's mannerisms are attributed to his rudeness. Redacted further described that Kohberger would stare at people in an intimidating way. She said she would avoid sitting next to Kohberger in class and said she told Kohberger that the way he was speaking was condescending and that he speaks that way to women and that it made her feel uncomfortable. Several of the students supported Redacted in her rebuke of Kohberger. Kohberger responded to her by saying, quote, "I care how you feel, but you are wrong." Since that incident, Redacted said she has felt targeted by him. Redacted became emotional at this point in the interview, and she said Kohberger has since paid her a lot more attention. She said Kohberger has stood in a way that she couldn't get out of her desk and that then started to talk to her. She said Kohberger would talk to her into the ground about how she was wrong about whatever topic he was interested in. Kohberger would also come into her office and stood in the doorway and would not take any cues that she did not want to talk to him. Kohberger would try and talk to her about Ted Bundy and the murders because he knew she was interested in true crime. He also name-dropped a former professor of his named, who do you think?
Ellen Ramsey.
Yep. And Blank admired and wanted to meet her, but not based on her association with Kohberger. Redacted said if she was going to meet her, it would be because of her own initiative, not based on Kohberger. She said she was interested in the fact that since the Moscow murders, some people were comparing them to the Ted Bundy murders that occurred at a college sorority, and that Kohberger wanted to talk about those murders with her. She said Kohberger studied sexual burglars and their motivations and decision-making. So the Redacted told Redacted to start keeping track of Kohberger's behavior towards her. She made an informal report to the school, but she didn't like the way they responded because she felt that they could not adequately form from retaliation. So she said she continued to report her experiences as well as the program chair and other professors about feeling unsafe. She said she recently wrote in a graduate questionnaire that she continued to feel targeted and didn't know how to handle the situation. She said they were required a discrimination training because of things that Kohberger had said unofficially. Kohberger had asked her if she would be comfortable procreating given the fact she had a disability. Oh, wow. So what? Kohberger had asked her if she would feel comfortable procreating given that she had a disability. She started keeping track of how often he was late to class. She said she kept track of the number of times that Kohberger aggressively stared at her during class. In one class, she said he stared at her 9 times. She described instances of Kohberger following her after class multiple times and said Kohberger always seems to want to be in the general area of her and others in the program that did not want to have anything to do with him. She talked about Redacted student, a female named Redacted, who recently had her apartment broken into. She complained to graduate housing, but they didn't help her. Redacted said Kohberger took an interest in her. She said the reason this Redacted and the other one talked to Kohberger was because they had difficulty understanding English, and they seemed to be the only ones that would continue to talk with Kohberger. Kohberger went to the apartment and tried to support Redacted. This occurred towards the end of October. Oh my gosh. Redacted said she has the sense that everything Kohberger does is very calculated. She said Kohberger is intimidated by her friend because she stands up to him. When that friend is around, Kohberger leaves the girl alone. When her friend leaves, Kohberger then turns around and starts talking to her and said the way Kohberger behaves towards her is markedly different when her friend is not around. She talked about one day when her friend was gone and Kohberger would not leave her alone and prevented her from leaving class. He said he thought Kohberger's motivation was gratification he got from controlling her. He wants to be seen as the strongest, smartest, most important person in the room. She said their class has sat for hours in class listening to him arguing with the teacher about his project. Kohberger always wanted to talk about offender decision making. Kohberger gets very defensive when he feels he is being questioned. On one occasion, someone had tried to cut him off when he was going on and on during one of his monologues, and Kohberger responded that he felt it was rude when someone would interrupt him. She said Kohberger would use qualifying words in an effort to hide behind saying offensive things. She said one time in November, she found Kohberger in her office. She felt uncomfortable and left, and she shared an office with 3 other people and didn't feel like she would have told him. She should have told him not to be in her office. When she came back, Kohberger was in Redacted's office with his body turned towards her. And she later said Kohberger wasn't talking to her about anything important. She said when she came back, he asked her where she had been. She told him it was none of his business. She said Kohberger had bloody knuckles at the time. She said the wounds were bad and said Kohberger recently started wearing a giant puffy jacket even in class. She found this odd. She said Kohberger said if he were to ever have a sexual partner, they would have to have no physical or mental disabilities. They would have to be straight and the opposite of gender nonconforming. She just
what?
I know, because he was against, he did not like it. He made it very vocally clear.
Okay.
So she discussed her beliefs that school resource officers were used to discriminate against minority populations in high school. And she said Kohberger disagreed and denied that there are inequalities and said everyone was equal. And she felt he was perpetuating the same myths she was trying to bring up. She said some people in the program thought he might have autism. She thought Kohberger was a narcissist, and she said Kohberger was a vegan. She said Kohberger knew she was married because she had brought her husband to a get-together barbecue, and her husband and Kohberger had a discussion at the barbecue. After this discussion, her husband told her that he did not like Kohberger and wanted her to be careful around him. She said she would see Kohberger on a daily basis and said in all the time she had interacted with Kohberger, he had never displayed empathy towards another person. You want to read the other half?
Yeah. Wow. Blank was unaware of any reason for Kohberger to travel to Moscow or any other local towns in the area. Blank had heard that Kohberger was into boxing as a hobby. Blank said,
I was just saying, and Harlot's so right. What a hypocrite, asking for special treatment in court because of his autism. That's a great point, Harlot.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. It was wild. Lord, Blake said that when she first heard of the homicides in this case, she wondered if it could have been Kohberger. Blake said Kohberger was the only student in the class that believed in the death penalty. What?
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? That is kind of narcissistic. Yeah, okay.
Kohberger asked her if her 12-year-old daughter was raped and murdered if she would support the death penalty.
Oh my God. So she was trying to convince other people to be in support of it.
Yeah, sorry. I should have said raped, but I just...
No, you're fine.
Okay, Blake noticed that Kohberger was regularly late for classes where a female was instructing and rarely when a male was instructing. Blake said that on one occasion, Kohberger expressed to females in the class that once he was in the job market, they would be screwed and competing against him for a job. I'm just going to say the co-ed. So the co-ed said she wanted to think he was just socially inept, but after knowing him, she believes that Kohberger always thinks he is the smartest person in the room and has expressed resentment or jealousy at their successes. The co-ed said Kohberger is always the first person to express his support of police, And again mentioned her and Kohberger's disagreement about the value of SROs in school. The co-ed said she believed Kohberger's question about if someone else was also arrested after his own arrest was an attempt by him to throw people off and not that he had a friend or acquaintance. Blank said she had heard Kohberger had attended a mixer at the blank that she did not attend. She noted she had been told that he had drank a bottle of wine by himself at this event, and that she said she had not heard Kohberger discussing knives or how to cover your tracks at a crime scene. She said Kohberger had discussed theoretically about sexual burglars. That's interesting. Blank said Kohberger is very nosy and tries to look at what other people are texting.
Yeah.
Said her friend had Kohberger over at her apartment on one occasion and told Blank that she thought Kohberger had gone through her medicine cabinet. Blank said she'd not heard Kohberger talk about offenders studying victims' behavior before committing a crime, but they suggested we speak with Blank in this question of spelling because they felt Kohberger would have discussed his interest in studying violent sexual crimes. Blank said Kohberger committed these homicides because he wanted to know what it felt like to commit these crimes in relation to his studies and ultimately if he could get away with the crimes, further supporting his belief that he was smarter than others. Blank said committing these Blank said committing these crimes and his need to control others is consistent with his personality. This interview was audio recorded. A copy of this recording will be transmitted to the Moscow PD to be placed into evidence, nothing further.
Wow. That I'm sorry, like I align a lot. Like that's exactly how I imagined him too. You know, like it's so I don't think he knew at all how to socially gauge situations, interact with people, communicate, have friends. Which in one sense I can feel bad because I know a lot of people do struggle with that, but in another sense, absolutely not. Like that doesn't at all minimize what he's done. But it goes to show you how, the mix of maybe those types of traits then with a very sick mind. And this is what you get, and I really think, like I said, I think he thought he could get away with it. I think he really did.
I think he did too. I think he believed he studied hard enough and did enough and he messed up.
But just seeing him constantly circle around the house like over and over, and like he wanted to do it that night. Like it didn't matter that there was activity. It didn't matter there was a DoorDash drive. Like and which makes me wonder how many times did he go prior? Like what made this night the night? Did he pump himself up to the point where he just couldn't not follow through?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of people have speculation on the numerology. Others think because Kaylee was there, even though they still think Maddie's a target, something with Kaylee. I don't know. It's bizarre.
It's so bizarre. But now we have, oh God, we have like 3 times the records now to continue to go through. Like I said, like I said it last time, like I'd like to go through some of the crime scene photos, but I still haven't made my decision yet because you do learn a lot from being able to see the layout, to be able to take the reports and what they say that they saw at the scene and apply it. But I'm also trying to be respectful of the families. And so I really haven't made my decision yet. I might pull a couple up along the way as we go that don't show too much. But I'll figure it out as I go. I just haven't made my decision, so I'm not kind of going through it. But they're out there, like so people can look at what they want to look at. But it's kind of confusing because some of the things, like I said, are being written on the report aren't necessarily what we see. And so you try to get an understanding because you visualize certain things, certain layouts of where the bed was, this, that for years, and then to finally be able to have access. And it's not as this is what I wish we would have had come trial is the experts up on the stand and explaining what we are seeing, what we are looking at, like to really get a full understanding. Because right now you have all these reports coming out, the photos, and they're just being scattered all over the place. And people are putting their own assumptions and their own, I don't even want to say theories, but they just assume, and they all think that they know, but really, we really don't know, like that's why it's so amazing when you have experts up on the stand explaining all of it.
Yeah, I know it's a much different case and different size of trial, but the Quentin Simon one, we both watched that, and like even just getting the walkthrough of what we were supposed to be looking at, and like even just hearing the police body cam of they're holding their nose and they're smelling something, but obviously we can't smell it. We don't have the senses, but they know there's throw up or vomit or something.
Yes. 100%. That's a great example with Leilani. Like for them to be able, even if we watch all the body cam footage and read all the reports, we would not know that as soon as they made entry, the overwhelming smell of vomit was there. Like there's certain things that we are never going to get. So you kind of try to take what you have and piece it together and make it make sense. But exactly what we knew was going to happen is happening, where people are just tearing it apart, using it to fuel more speculation instead of kind of like, all right, let's chill out. Let's kind of go through it, take our time, like not jump the gun here and try to put together what we have, because there are 4 victims. It was a very big crimes.
Yeah.
And so even the officers initially had things a bit backwards and stuff. And so not everything is a conspiracy, but I do still have questions, and they may be answered as we go through these reports.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like we didn't have to be the first to go through everything, but I want to try to like download everything as quickly as I can, just in case something gets pulled. So I shared the G drive in the chat, but that's where I've just been saving everything for Melissa and I to gather access to as quickly as we can. But I don't have the crime scene photos saved. Those were FOIA'd. That's not something that's been released like on a records portal or a police law enforcement website.
Now you said you're not around tomorrow, right?
I'm not supposed to be, no. My cousin's in town, and then I told you my best friends, they're moving to Colorado.
Yes.
So, but I think I'll be around Sunday because, we're moving our birthday lunch to next Sunday.
Okay. Shay's birthday's coming up, guys. Remember I said happy birthday to her whole 2 months early?
Yeah, I do.
It's coming up next month. You're less than a month away. Happy birthday. So when I forget on the day of, just remember I said it twice. 2 months at a time, 1 month ahead of time, and then I'll be late on the day of. It's just how it's gonna go.
You thought about me. I get it. I get it.
For 2 months, it's sat in my mind. So when I'm late, just know I still love you.
Deal.
But all right, I guess we'll kind of go through these. As I kind of scrolled through most of them, I don't really see anything that's jumping out as not appropriate to show. So that's good. But I guess we'll make the decision if we want to continue reading where we left off on the first, if you want to jump around to this one. We're going to get through all of them no matter what. It's just really the pace that we all want to go at.
Yeah. And do you mind if I drop that link again if people just want to take a look? We're not looking ahead, guys. So if y'all do, that's fine. But we're trying to be good.
Yeah, we're trying to duck and dodge all of the media out there. But Shay's dropping her link. Like she said, she has all of everything that's been released as far as records, all compiled into one Google Drive. So it's all accessible and easy for anyone who wants to go through them.
There's also the Ada County and the Latah County, like a spreadsheet of all the court docs. I think I may be behind on one document, but it was just for an order to seal.
And I submitted, record request FOIAs, but I don't anticipate mine being filled. As you can see, the media gets first access, which we already knew that was going to happen, but I don't care. Again, it's not about being first. I just want to have it, and to go through it. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, probably J13. But thank you, Shay. Thank you, Mods. You guys are all amazing. And we'll be back with more of these documents on Sunday.
Yay. Bye.
Yay. Bye, guys.